Hello?
Hello, chat. Uh,
Hello?
we're back, I think. My body is broken, but gaming will heal it. Because I have weird and mysterious extrovert powers. This
Ooh.
is Magic Fish Radio. I forgot to adjust my camera. This is Magic Fish Radio. We do tabletop RPG streams on Tuesdays and Saturdays. Um, we are open to new players for all of our sessions right now. Because the summer is cursed. I think that's all I've got. The summer is cursed. Personally, professionally, geographic, societally. And oh yeah, so join our Discord. Also, let me bring up the link for the application form, because none of our mods are here today.
I can type Discord in the chat. It would work.
Yes.
There we go.
Woohoo.
I may not be a mod, but I can be helpful.
Thank you. But yes, let me put this in. So yes, there is a Google form. Where's it in? Application form! Now it's labeled in the chat. Woohoo!
Scissors!
And look, we have a new overlay. And we have
Yeah.
emotes. It's amazing. It's like we're a real Twitch channel now.
We were always a real Twitch channel.
Yeah. Anyway, new players, if you want to stream with us, we have no money and cannot pay anyone because we use channel points for player buffs instead of cash. And now that's written on the stream too, on the screen, so I don't have to keep repeating myself. Yeah, so if you want to game with us, Tuesdays or Saturdays, fill out the form, hang out with us, get on the Discord and talk to us, vibe check us, we'll vibe check you. And yeah. Tuesday, we start, GM John is starting with Session 0 of G.I. Joe, Relics of War. It is the Essence 20 system, which has not had the most sterling reviews. So the Session 0 will hopefully be as educational for you as it will be helpful to us to know what the hell we're doing. I trust in John's ability to write a story, but none of us quite know what to make of Essence 20 yet. As we off-stream tried a one-shot of the Power Rangers game, which was a traumatizing train wreck for all involved. And talking shit about gaming publishers is probably why we've never had sponsors. Whoops. Oh, we've got
a bot.
Bot.
Shoo! Be gone. Get the raid.
I'll deal with the bot. Is okay.
And I like the raid cam, not the.
None of our mods are here. We need. So we also could use some more mods, because we're a bit short on them right now. Because the summer is cursed. I will get to that in a moment. I don't remember. Sorry, chat. Summer is melting my brain. It is very much summer in New York City, and I have no brain. Tonight we are playing Exit to Eden, if I can focus my brain on stuff I wrote 3 weeks ago, which is A World of Darkness in Space. It is NWoD, New World of Darkness, or Chronicles of Darkness, set in a far-flung dystopian future where the Supernats are out, and the government thinks they're an excellent scapegoat. So our protagonists are not residents of the Limos system, but they are all there trying to figure out, A, how to fix the problem of there being a wound in the undercity of one of the planets, B, get the Supernats who have formed a colony on the crappiest planet in the system just out of the system. Because the core worlds are kind of the central government force in the cosmos. And this is the Expanse, which is trying to get in good with the core by being just as racist as they are. So
that always works.
Content warning. There are a lot of, you know, unhappy systemic injustice stuff going on. On one hand, all skin tone racism and homophobia and sexism, that's all over. But they've doubled down on classism and decided Supernats are their own semi-human class to hate on.
Yay. You say sarcastically.
Which came up a bit last week with the purchased NPC of a bounty hunting idiot who, well, he came to the wrong colony to collect Supernat bounties.
Terrible shot.
Yep.
But his ship is very nice.
Yes.
And his friend's money.
Yep. So, yes. So, with that, I'm going to do some bookkeeping while our players introduce themselves. So let's start with Zardoz. Who are you playing tonight?
I am playing Holiday, who is a lawyer who is going to probably make everything worse through the power of law.
Yay!
Objection. That's all I know.
And Fennec, who are you playing tonight?
Sup, I'm Fennec. I'll be playing Isfir. She just recently rolled into town and found this group of people who say we're gonna go punch a planet and get people out, and that seems like a good time for her. What do you mean she looks not human? I don't know what you're talking about. She looks totally human.
Of course, she's changeling.
It's a changeling. Oh my gosh.
Changelings have auto stealth.
Yeah.
It's up to each other.
And I'm Josh. I'm playing Petruchio, who is a vampire and is definitely in a group mostly consisting of changelings, not going to go around mind controlling people. It's definitely not what I'm doing unless it's really important.
Hashtag Venture Life.
Yep.
Well, I mean, yeah. Vampires are good at controlling people. Changelings apparently have the ability to mind control an entire building.
At least Holiday.
Yeah.
You could have that power too. It's a contract.
It is. Isfir is more the, oh hey, I need to go through this wall. Okay, bye.
Yeah.
Type.
I know that trick too.
I mean, she maybe, I think one of her contracts maybe is, we'll see if it ever comes up. But, you know, potentially she could screw with a person. Potentially. Depends on what the dice gods say.
They're usually laughing.
They say, dance, Papa, dance for all those bones.
I banned a bot all by myself.
Yay!
I figured out how to do that.
I'm proud.
We have 5 viewers. That means someone who isn't us is watching. Yay! Hello.
Yay. Hi, friend.
Hello. Unless it was the bot.
Unless it was the bot.
Oh well.
Even then, it drives up our viewership.
Yeah. Any port in a storm. So yeah. Oh my brain. The chat box on the new overlay isn't working as I thought. Well, I guess I'll edit it for later.
I will figure it out.
So, when last we left our that's right. Player buffs. Chat, use channel points and buy buffs and nerfs for the players. Or drop NPCs. There's a limit on them because someone got a little too happy with them a few weeks ago, and I'm still getting through the backlog. So, you know, budget your NPCs for tonight. But I'm mostly through the backlog, so I should be able to actually, like, do this. So, yay.
Sir!
Yoo-hoo. So, players, you have 23 plus ones.
That is useful.
I have somewhat more. Ah, that's a noise. Shadows of Life, hello. Thank you for the follow.
Shadows.
Yay! Oh, yay! An icon. That means you're not a bot. We just had a bot problem. Woohoo! Okay.
Hello, Fort hugs to you, friend.
Where was I? Running my game. Yes. I'm sorry. Summer is New York. Melt brain hormones. It's just a bad week overall to have a uterus, especially in the United States. I should put in the politics, just in case.
Yeah,
There
good
we
idea.
Go. Anyway, when last we left our protagonists, at one point I said it was daytime when Ben Swallow attacked, but I think it was actually overnight, because y'all had that evening town hall meeting.
It was next day, like early morning next day.
Was it early morning next? Okay.
Yeah.
So
Like we had all just woken up, sipping our coffee, and then.
Okay. Because I know, because Dune went off to talk to werewolves, which is Dune's favorite thing to do.
Right? With the help of Anti-Batman.
Well, no, Anti-Batman's not here.
I know Anti-Batman's not here.
Anti-Batman has to take care of Eden City.
I keep hoping if I say her name, in a mirror 3 times, she'll just appear and help us.
Chat, if you don't know what we're talking about, watch the VODs. Fennec is watching the VODs, so you can too.
Fennec is... Anyways, we're not going into what Fennec does. Don't use Fennec's bad habits as your chats, or your standard chat.
What like a Fennec do? So yes, and then Esphere went to talk to the Shadow Court.
They're very chill.
Patricio was somewhere, I don't remember.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually don't know. I wasn't at the last session, I think.
Yeah. And you didn't watch the VOD.
I didn't. Sad.
You were doing vampire stuff.
I just assumed they were in their cabin talking to the code monkeys while doing vampire stuff.
Mm-hmm. Code monkeys!
Well, we still need to find out if there are other places they could be hiding. Well, we figured out that they're probably hiding them off planet.
So yes, the things you would know as a vampire. Where are my notes?
Vampire.
Okay. So yes, overall what happened, the Prince Xandar, a non-binary Invictus Mekhet, they're not really in charge. Well, they're the vampire. They're the prince of the vampires who, because they have been bankrolling the building of the new domes in this colony. They got the first finished new dome all to themselves.
As you do.
They're prince of that. But they seem to take point at, well, at least at last night's town hall meeting. But most people are like, they're not really like trying to order around the other Supernats, and Kindred are kind of each type of metahuman or Supernat they all have their own kind of governmental forms. Kindred are just used to being in charge and calling the shots over large groups of people, so it looks like, so yeah, they're not really pulling rank on anyone or trying to take over the whole colony, but if there's a town hall meeting, yeah, let's let the prince deal with it.
Is the prince first estate?
Yes, the prince is Invictus.
Yeah.
You're not really sure if they have a position. Aberlim is a Mekhet, I believe he's a Mekhet Ordo, and he sort of took point, or the prince voluntold him that he was going to be helping to organize the stuff going on with fighting the wound, which Aberlim was thrilled about because he just loves talking in front of giant groups of people as a Mekhet.
There.
Yes, you also enlisted the help of a mage, Megara, who is always seems to be 1 foot in the spirit world, and she says she's working out the ritual to brute force close the wound, because from all the stories told by werewolves, by players, etc., usually to close a wound, if there's a monster living in it, you do have to kill the monster, but then you basically close the wound by rehabilitating the mundane world around it. But this wound is in the depths of an undercity that no one uses or goes to. In fact, it was created by a plague pit, more or less. So there's no real rehabilitation gonna happen, but the mages say that the mage says she can brute force it closed, basically.
Which is good, because then it won't explode and take all the other planets with it.
Yes, because a wound typically is a most Supernats know wounds as holes in the gauntlet between the mundane world and the spirit world. This one has an additional flavor of abyssal taint, which is more of a mage problem. Hashtag mage problems. And chat, if you're new here, this is NWoD. This is Chronicles of Darkness. This is Mage the Awakening. So the Abyss is really, really evil. And despite the fact that everyone knows what magic is, mages still suffer from paradox. So it is the current theory that the Abyss itself creates paradox to ruin mages' days. Ruin mage days. And effectively, the void of space itself is either the Abyss, or it is such a close approximation of the Abyss as to be a symbol of the Abyss, and thus is the Abyss. So to have a big abyssal vortex eat a planet in the middle of the Abyss is not good. Otherwise, the Supernats would be fine to just, leave the humans this problem. Except there's also a pack of werewolves still guarding the wound and trying to stop people from getting in. And they are forsaken in more ways than one, and they can't just leave because they have taken oaths and they has honor.
Honor.
And, bans, because being a werewolf sucks. But that's it always sucks to be a werewolf. You're sort of stuck saving, doing the heroic thing for a society or a race or spirits that will never appreciate you.
Sucks for them.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, that's superhero life in general, but particularly for werewolves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, their own mom got pissed at them because they had to kill their dad. It's a long story. Read Forsaken. Forsaken lore is interesting.
You have the book on the server, so.
Yeah. So yes, and Holiday broke into an asshole merc wannabe's ship and took all of his money and gave all of it to the shipyard here. So yeah.
We now have a new little tiny ship. Well, you guys have a new little tiny ship. Isphere's just along for the ride.
I mean, Holiday has a ship unless he's giving it away.
I haven't given it away yet. I still need it for a minute.
Uh-huh.
There's a plan. All right. So, Ben Swallow has been taken to the brig, and Liz Shaw, the Summer Queen. The summer there's a Summer Queen, but there is no Nova Court monarch, so they've kind of smushed together. And Liz is the Summer Queen, so those courts do what she says and take points. She is a bit intellectual for a summer courtier, but that's not impossible, just a little weird. They're all still terrified of her. Her decision thus far has been to just throw the stupid kid in the brig and then keep him fed and hold him, I almost said sustainably, humanely, and then he can be the problem of whoever takes over this colony after all the Supernats leave. So make this human a problem for the humans. Because killing him, while a lot of people were very pro killing him, that's really all the justification the local system government needs to nuke y'all.
Okay. To be fair, Isphere wasn't going to kill him. She just was going to take an eye because they needed an eye to get on the ship.
Someone also posited, could we get a vampire to embrace him? But it's like, you know, obnoxiousness and stupidity are forever.
Yep.
And like,
does anyone want him?
Yeah.
The Toreador.
I mean, I've been to quite a few vampire LARPs, OWOD and NWoD, where it's like, who embraced that?
The Toreador.
But my NPCs are smarter than this. Usually. Except for the prince on Limos planet, because, well...
Limos.
Yeah. And any of the kindred you've spoken to here are like, yeah, they can stay there. Let the humans deal with them.
Hopefully they won't notice we've come back to deal with his wound.
Oh, they haven't noticed anything outside of their, you know, literal ivory tower.
Yep.
Which is gonna get burnt down by some humans once shit gets real around here. Or at least that's the assumption. So Town Hall happened. Here's what a wound is. Here's what we need people for. Here's what we need fighters for. Also, we should start working out logistics for getting everyone off this planet and out of the system. Look, we have a holo on our spaceship, which no one has ever seen or heard of aside from True Fae loyalists, which you killed for their ship, sort of. Not exactly, but it... Yeah. Took out the loyalists. Oh, we get a free ship for it. Cool. It was a whole thing. Many episodes ago. Oh, and I didn't set the alarm for it. Okay. So, the plan was everyone was going to go talk to their related, courts and tribes and peoples. Sorry, alarm for break, or else I will forget to run break. Oh, sorry, chat. Again, melty brain. I'm mostly just saying this so I remember. But yes, I think it was like noon the next day, or the next one, let's say noon the next day, and people were gonna, you know, talk to their respective peoples, see who wants to fight, see who wants to leave, and then there would be another smaller meeting of leaders from those groups, figuring out what y'all have got to work with. And was it Holiday showed Liz around the holo ship so she could get a sense of what was there?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, Holiday showed both Liz and Isphere. Isphere went back and told the Night Court. Liz, I'm assuming, went and told the other changeling groups that were around.
Yes, so we established that the holo is big enough to house a small town comfortably, which is about, by American standards, 5,000 people.
So does that mean that we're unlikely to need other privateers or resources, or that we probably want those in addition?
Privateers is a very bad word to use.
Sorry, privateers is the wrong term.
Merchants.
Contractors.
Pirates.
Pirates is actually a better word to use.
Yep.
Freelance merchants.
Yes. Please say privateer around the other two players in your group who have you playing changelings. See how that works out for you.
Yep. Privateers are a very specific kind of pirate, which are changelings that work for the True Fae, and their main thing is to steal changelings back to Arcadia, or steal humans back to Arcadia, because they think this is freedom.
And they can go suck an egg.
Yep.
Politely.
Very
to say
evil.
politely.
They are same race antagonists. They're Venue antagonists. There we go. So yeah, so it could fit 5,000 people to live in comfortably, but y'all really just got to get them to Eden system. So you could probably stuff considerably more people into that space if they don't mind being a bit squished. But given the shanty town that they've put in the main warehouse dome for habitation, it's like, you know, I think they could probably deal with it. A bigger, more annoying problem was that the door was rather small, and there are potentially tens of thousands of people who need to get in. But I think, was it Holiday who was going to make the door bigger?
Oh, that was a Dune idea.
That was a Dune idea.
So it's the getting into Dragon Con problem.
Yes. Bottleneck. So much bottleneck. Patricio, since you weren't around, is there anything you want to do or anyone you want to talk to before the big meeting, or the logistics meeting? Because you weren't here, so also our party made contact with the werewolves back on Limos. What's his name? Your code monkey friend on this planet, whose name is
Vincent?
somewhere.
Vincent?
No. Tobias, yeah.
Oh yes, Tobias.
I'm gonna copy paste this down a bit so it is further down in my notes. So Tobias helped them rig some stuff to boost the signal a bit.
Has anyone talked to the prince?
The prince is not hard to... Which prince? The one on...
The one here.
The one here? They're available to talk to if you want to talk to them. And, you know, they do have an interest in, the goings-on as a community leader.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, they're around to take a call. Or hang out. They're in their, they usually stick around in just the habitation dome. Which when you walk by has a great big Invictus flag in front. So it's like, well, okay. Vamp's gonna vamp.
I'm an Invictus.
Yeah. Oh, that's true, yeah.
Refreshing my memory here. Carthian
are like the socialists.
Invictus is more we rule everybody because we're better.
Yeah, the
Okay.
oligarchy.
Invictus is the Camarilla.
Yeah.
Basically.
Got it.
Yeah, kinda.
Kinda. Carthian is the Caitiffs, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
More like the more like the Anarchs, really.
Anarchs, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, Requiem doesn't have the same ideological split because they technically don't have antediluvians, which is the main premise of the split of the various
Court things
in NWoD Vampire.
Yeah.
And then you have witches, priests.
You have Christian fundamentalists and neo-pagans and Buddhist ceremonial magicians.
It's all right.
Okay.
Slash hackers.
Slash
body
hackers.
hackers.
Yeah.
You have being a vampire sucks, let's make it better.
But like in all other NWoD games, the vampires in this game are not tied to any particular ethnic groups or geographic locations. So it ain't quite... It is not as racist. We might have had a bit of a rant about this before game.
Yep, Invictus is the man everywhere. Everyone
Yes.
has their man. And
Yep.
we're it.
Yep. So that is one thing I like about NWoD. And also makes it so easy to bring them to space.
So speaking of the man,
Yeah. Well, they're a non-binary person, but
the man has no gender except what they, do.
I get where you're going with that, but also people have feelings.
We do. They do.
Like real life. People watching have feelings. So.
That's true.
So
The establishment.
the establishment. There we go. You would like to talk to the establishment.
Them.
Them. Them.
Dun, dun, dun.
Ladies and gentle them. Anyway, yeah, so they're around. The vampire dome was a bit quieter the last time people rolled in, because, I forget some of the characters went in to just talk to some vampires and say, hey, are you coming to the town hall meeting? Because we're doing this. So it was quite empty except for a couple people in this little park area in the middle. where the trees are all quite small because it's a new park.
Sure.
Weirdly, there's all these sparrows flying about. Okay. But it's quite nice. It's like a little indoor park in like a nice hotel or something.
Sure. So Patricio will walk up to wherever the prince is holding court or hanging out or whatever.
It's pretty easy to tell. They have you also get a sense of the different levels of this dome kind of going in. The higher you go, the more luxurious the floor. It goes from concrete to stone to polished marble. If you ask around, people will just point you towards the prince. Their chambers are, you know, on the top floor. Not quite a penthouse because there are other rooms. It's like a big apartment building or like a big hotel. Oh, the sparrow's named Jack because reasons. I don't invoke that guy on this channel anymore.
Okay.
A relationship can have more than one evil person in it, so I'm just gonna ignore all of them, or both of them forever.
Right.
Anyway, now it's talking to the establishment. Yeah, so you can basically tell, like, again, there's another big Invictus flag basically painted onto their door, which is very fine quality wood. Actually, no, it's probably a medium quality material, but it looks like they paid for someone to make them a custom door. And there are lots of people here from a lot of different trades, so, you know. But there is a guard in front of it. And he's like, yes, you are Mix Petruchio?
I am. I've come to pay my respects and determine whether the prince has any questions for me.
Oh,
whether they would like to ask in person.
All right, give me a moment. He types something into his wristband. All right, right this way. And the door opens, unlatches and opens by itself. Because it's fancy. And you walk in, and there is another. They're definitely carrying a firearm, but it looks like this person is more a cross between guard and PA. So it's like, yes, Mix Petruchio.
Indeed.
Let's say they're another non-binary, as you can tell from their micro expressions, because that's how people express their genders in this universe.
Well, I know that rumors have been spreading about us and what we're about. So I thought I would give you the opportunity to ask me any questions you had in person before the meeting.
Oh, you haven't seen the prince yet. This is just the attaché.
Oh, sorry. I will say that in a more general term.
All right. Right this way.
Very well.
Yeah, and they there's several rooms here, and they knock on the fanciest door. And you hear the prince voice. Yes, come in.
Oh, who are you? Was I introduced to the guard person or the?
You gonna make me name all these NPCs?
Sorry, a little.
Ben. We'll just call him Ben.
We already had a Ben last week. Ben Solo.
Uncle Ben.
I had a Feng Shui GM at one point. So Feng Shui has a distinction between characters that have names and characters that don't have names. And so at one point, because characters have names have better stats than characters that don't have names.
The guard at the front is Ted.
Okay.
The PA guard is Bill. Lem. There we go.
Oh. I was gonna say Bill, because then Bill and Ted can go on adventures.
No.
That is not. Maybe it is a vampire story. I don't know. I can't see vampires being the ones to figure out time travel.
Oh, I can't. No, but I can see vampires paying the people who discover time travel.
True. True.
Just a bunch of poor mages in the basement. Figured it out yet? Nope. Here's some more money.
So yeah, Lem just, takes you in, motions for you to sit down, and, the prince is at, a big, nice desk.
Thank you, Lem.
The prince does not stand, Lem does not sit down, and motions that you sit in one of the nice leather chairs. You can see that, given time, this will be the most sumptuous room, luxurious room in the entire colony, but they've only had a few months.
Yep.
But they're making, it's a nice office for the resources they have. It's a very comfy chair. The PA remains standing by the door.
Right. I will check with the person who was introduced as the prince, and assuming that they seem to give assent, I will sit down.
Yeah, the prince nods and have a seat, Mix Petruchio.
Thank you. What's the name of my grandsire? The one who runs?
Tilda. Prince Tilda. Splether. Space leather.
You're welcome.
Prince Tilda sends their regards.
Yes, this is the Prince of Eden System or Eden City?
Double check and remind me. I believe it's Eden City. Or am I wrong?
She's focused on the city.
Eden is the city. What is the name of the system? There is a name for the system.
The system is Eden. The planet is Balder. And the city is also Eden. Because planetary systems are weird about geography. So Eden City is the capital of Eden System. But the planet is called Balder.
Right. Eden City.
Ah. Yes, I looked it up on the on Starnet. It seems like a very nice place. Possibly
it is
the last nice place in the Expanse.
Sadly, but good for us.
Yes, I can't.
We could use some more nice places.
I can't say I'm looking forward to leaving, but unfortunately, I also, much as it is the Invictus way to clause in and fight for what you have, my advisors aren't doing the best job at convincing me there's a way that we survive.
If this were merely a matter of a specific interest group taking over the planet's politics, that would be one thing. But if so, we don't know it.
Well, it's not so much an interest group as Limos system wanting to join the core systems and thus having to mirror their policies.
Exactly.
And their prejudices. So yes, I'm loath to give up what I've worked so hard to build here, but I'm also not the Prince of Logoi.
Indeed. Is there anything you'd like to know from me?
No, I'm more waiting to and they motion to sort of a little iPad that's facing them, like kind of on a stand. I'm still getting responses from my local leaders and gathering numbers and working out logistics on our end. We should have it by the time of the meeting. I guess I would only have the personal question of how will Tilda feel if another prince crashes into her territory. Obviously, I'm not going to Eden System to take it over.
Clearly not.
But some Invictus princes are more territorial than others.
Do I have a sense of that? Especially given that Tilda is very much the master behind the egress.
Roll me int politics.
Sure. Oh, that's not a 1. That's good.
It's not a 1. That's always the best.
That is very important. So let's see. Politics vampires is a 4. Int is 5. So that would be 9 base and 14.
Okay, I forgot I don't have my dice. So chat, what we do here is an old LARP trick from first at NWoD, where you roll 1d10 and then add all of your dots to it. Because we've started playing a few more White Wolf games since then, on Tuesday nights, but it's like, the pandemic had just started, and I didn't want to make my friends helping me with this channel, I didn't want to make them have to buy barrels of d10s.
But then you get me, who's just like, oh, new character, new dice.
Woo! Which is also fun. So yeah, 14. So successes start at 8, and then go up by 3, so 8, 11, 14, that is 3 successes. So, I mean, for anyone who hasn't seen the first few episodes, you have this job because you were suspected of being part of a plot to murder her. And for all intents and purposes, she could have just killed you.
Yep.
But she decided, I'm like 80% sure you weren't in on it, so let's have you work off your suspicion by running this tourist agency that she's funded to also be an underground railroad. And, you know, it's not uncommon for Invictuses to outsource their projects to family to keep things in-house, but also delegate. So you're pretty sure, like, you know, if another prince just showed up in system, especially refugee from another system, like, she's not gonna have them rounded up and imprisoned for existing. But, you know, it is also... You do realize it would probably be the best thing for you to set up an appointment between them and Tilda to just, like, so they present themselves.
Like I'm doing right now, but yes.
So, yeah. So, probably once they hit planet, you should immediately call Tilda's people. And, like, so this neighboring prince wants to just present themselves.
We're going to want to follow protocols, of course, and I'll need to set up an appointment, but it shouldn't be a problem.
Yes, I am.
I'm sure she'll want to talk to you.
Yes, I am. If you couldn't tell, I wasn't Prince downstairs.
Oh, I can understand why.
I was, for a time, on a colony that, well, no, it's, actually, I was a prince in another system that, early adopters to core policies. So this is in fact my, this will be my second exodus. So, but this is what it is. The first estate must survive. And to try and defend what is undefensible is unwise and a foolish waste of resources.
Quite.
And it's not my first time having to run.
Something does have to be done in the long term, but in the short term, we still have to keep people alive.
Yes. It's... What is a prince without their kingdom? And also, despite what so many humans believe, I'm not actually a monster. And as a maquette, I mean, it was more of a change to not have to hide in plain sight, which my clan is quite adept at. My attaché says I spend far too much time in my office. And the attaché just like looks at the floor, and they're like, I'm not the Prince of Logoi, and they're like, okay.
I can understand that.
So yes, I mean, if you can assure me that stepping off the ship onto Balder won't get me immediately rounded up by the local prince, then
Certainly not. Uh, oh, sorry, you haven't sponsored any attempted assassinations against her, have you?
against who? So many.
Exactly.
No, like I actually there's like so many people we would want to have assassinate. Like, do you mean that prince? Do you mean the local government? What?
Oh, I meant her.
Tilda?
Quite. I'm told she doesn't take that kindly.
Oh, well, no, that's not my design.
I didn't think so.
I mean, I'm starting to get a taste for colony life, so maybe if there's a world on the Outer Rim that could use my bureaucratic ability.
As it happens, we do have a lot of contacts on the Outer Rim.
Even so, I think it's probably my best strategy to find one that needs help and then fail upward, rather than coming in as a
Deposed.
imperialism, as an imperialist force, as a conquering force. There we go. But yes, many kindred higher in status are not going to take kindly to this, but I'm also not going to make their decisions for them. But I've already been through one purge. I've already survived one purge. I'm quite planning to survive this one.
Good.
It was worth a shot. I mean, I'm curious to hear what Mr. Holiday has up his sleeve.
Oh, I am too. He is always full of surprises.
I mean, I was not very well established in this system, but the other Invictus who did have influence within the local government, a lot of their contacts either turned on them or disappeared.
You'd think it would be easier to keep decent spies. All of their technology is all about whether someone is human or not.
Well, there is, but I suspect. Well, I mean, every government has its intelligence agencies, but others who have influence within those intelligence agencies suspect that they had help from another agency from outside. And that led the, I'm not sure why they call it McCarthyism. I don't quite know that snippet of, I believe it's somewhere in old Earth history.
Oh, is it? I've wondered about that.
Or, oh, the acolytes called it a witch hunt, which is more practical, but yes, basically, it started with witch hunts within the government. Sometimes for actual witches. Sometimes for witches' servants. And all we could do was run. Some used the last influence they had to get them to not pursue us up here yet.
Well, that is the other thing. I've been wondering. It's possible, of course, that they simply have murdered all the people who've disappeared.
Yes.
But if so, they still would need some place to hide the bodies.
Oh, well placed. Anyone who has access to an industrial incinerator.
Hmm.
Or load them up on a ship and space them in some odd pocket of the galaxy.
Well,
ask me how I know. We are not saints in this room. We are not the Lankaea. I wouldn't consider them saints either, but, you know.
Indeed.
We tell them what they want to hear.
Do you think they've done that to opposing journalists as well?
I don't see why not. Death gets cheaper and cheaper as the nights wear on. It's possible. What do you think else they might have done?
I don't know. They could have a prison colony, especially if they think that some of these people will be useful eventually.
As informants or as bait?
Oh, bait's an awful thought. Possible though. But if they had bait, then they would make him easier to find, or would they?
Well, eventually, perhaps. There's talk of sleeper agents as well. Well, I mean, I understand you're a Von True. Sleeper agents are not unusual idea for us.
No.
But yes, it all comes down to, well, what would I do if I were manipulating circumstances into a ideological purge?
Well, ideally, I'd want to have some of the people who are opposition eventually come out and reveal that they were just on vacation and have completely changed their mind on certain subjects.
Yeah, brainwashing is definitely an option. But yes, I mean, we're kindred. We're mostly just spitballing on what the humans learn from us to do to us now.
Yes.
But, yes,
as you said, we're not completely monsters.
Well, we're somewhat more practical and, well, the Invictus, we are not so hung up on our ideologies that we're willing to persecute others for them.
Yes.
The Lankea, not so much. The Acolytes of the Void depends on the system. Ordo Dracul is too busy, playing with themselves.
Oh, I know. I've been liaisoning with them.
Aberlim is very, he's fairly good at bureaucracy for an Ordo Dracul, which is why I volunteered him for the current position. But also, I believe, given the current crisis, one needs a magician on staff. Or as many different magicians as possible.
Rather. Do you have a sense of what you can spare for the other project? The more dangerous one?
We're not... We're not getting the numbers I had hoped for. But there is a very large Invictus presence on this colony, and we do not like getting our hands dirty. Quite a few gangrels seem to want to go.
Oh, I can understand that.
But hopefully I'll have full numbers by the time the meeting rolls around.
Good. Yeah.
But compared to the thousands of people in this colony, not a lot of people want to go. But
we don't have any good bribes, I think.
Yes, I don't have a lot to offer, especially if I'm about to cut and run. And boons from a prince who is not going to be prince for much longer is not much of a draw. Also, I think the wound is a problem of that werewolves and mages tend to deal with, not kindred. Our magics may not be as effective.
It's true, but teeth and claws always work.
Indeed. Hence, the gangrel are looking to party. And our gangrel are quite close with the local werewolf community, and I get a sense that they are mounting up.
So we'll have numbers, even if most of them aren't us.
I think a lot of the kindred are going to be are going to err on, let's defend our home base so it's still here when the others get back, which is not wrong, but
when the oligarchy you're fighting consists of all of the rich people, just all of them.
Alright, they're looking at their numbers. How many kindred do we have here? What was the last estimate? And they're just you see them, they pick up their pad and they're flipping through their notes as I am flipping through my notes. Well, I'll have this number by the meeting.
Right. The important thing is to make sure that we have enough vitae for the volunteers.
Yes.
We don't, after all, want to make a mess on our way in or out.
Yes, I definitely have questions about the logistics, but first I want to hear what the numbers are.
Bring your ghoul to Exodus Day.
It's true. That does provide a potential use for mortal volunteers who just want to hang out in the ship and not fight.
Says a voice from the ether.
Very well. If you have anything else you want to discuss, here's my contact information.
Okay, there are about 6,000 kindred here.
Mm-hmm.
We do not even have barely 1,000 wanting to go down.
Right.
I can't say I'm surprised, but I am a bit disappointed. Oh, well, I'll see you at the meeting.
Indeed.
Oh, would you like some refreshment before you go?
Please.
And they press a button on their door, and another very nice non-binary person comes in and sort of offers you their wrist.
Sure. After a little bit of negotiation, I will partake.
Yep. The blood doll looks very healthy, and
Good.
Not mind fucked, but the kiss is pleasurable. And based on how nice their clothing is, they definitely seem to be a servant in general, and yeah, not monsters, not always. Sometimes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But then humans can also be monsters.
How often does it look like that they get fed on? I mean, is it like more of a once a week thing, or?
Probably like once a week.
Yeah, and it has to be enough time that they can heal in between sessions.
Well, also, I mean, you just lick and the bite marks disappear.
Right.
Unless you have something wrong with you.
But the damage doesn't. That has to be.
True.
Which is why they get a nice steak dinner afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Or iron boosting meal of choice, since not everyone eats meat.
Have some B vitamins. Alright, so is there anything anyone else wants to do before the meeting? Or anyone else is looking into? Unfortunately, I forgot to write up something for the Swallow family that someone was researching, so it's just, you've set up the web crawler, and it'll come up with something eventually.
I figured Isphere, kind of researches the name at first, like thousands of hits pop up, and then she takes her one dot in computers to write a program for any like relevant information to pull it all.
Yeah, at the very least, they're definitely not peerage level elite, so
not peerage, but they have enough money for the kid to do this. That can still be a problem down the line.
That said, it hurts me in the organs to say this, but he had like a trust fund of 10 million credits. That's not that big for these people.
Okay,
it hurts your brain, but it's like, yes, there are trillionaires in these systems.
I know.
And Holiday has his sights set on them now.
This is true. I am also poor, so this is brain hurt now.
Me too.
Did I ever get my meeting with the people who run and Paragon here?
Sure, we could do that. How did you try setting up those meetings? Or
using my official Imperial Inspector's badge.
Okay, just do you show up at their little campers? or do you try to send them an email? Because yeah, it's pretty
The
easy.
nice lady who runs the docks was supposed to set up a meeting with them for me
Oh, okay.
at separate times.
All right.
So I
All
have a
right.
crazy bad idea.
She managed. Did you want them in the same room together?
No, because we had that conversation. We decided that was probably a bad idea.
Yeah, they're awful. All right. So the Paragon guy is apparently busy doing something. The
I'll go find
Omcon
him,
guy,
but-
who actually does work on stuff on the planet where people can see him, he's ironically able to take a meeting this morning, or at
Excellent.
least first.
Excellent.
Let me bring up his stuff.
Remember, kids, all I have are bad ideas that I somehow make work.
More power to you, because Isphere tried to check these guys out and got creeped out by their, what I'm pretty sure are now synthetic humans.
Yes, you failed the roll on why do these all look like clones?
Fennec now realizes after VOD research, but both Isphere and I at the time were like, we're bye.
Creepy. Bye bye. That's right. You filled up your first aid kit, and they're like, yeah, sure.
And then I could determine nothing was tampered with or things
So,
like
yeah.
that.
So you have an early appointment with Jim Canley.
Oh, good, it's Canley.
Canley, representative of Omcon. He's you get into the office and he's already sitting in the office in front of the what is her name?
I can't remember.
You can just call her nice lady until I look over my notes again
I'll
during
just
break.
call her Doris.
The head of operations. So he's in the office of head of operations. And you walk in, and he stands up and he readjusts his jacket, and he's like, "Hi, Jim Canley. Nice to meet you."
Nice to meet you, Captain Masterson.
Head of operations is sort of like tilts her head, is like in that silent. Do you want my chair or do you want to sit next to the Omcom guy?
Sit next to the Omcom guy.
Okay, so yeah, she sits back down. And y'all sit down. Todd brings in some coffee and then goes back to the tower because there's nothing else to do.
I do enjoy it when the Todd does the things.
Todd does the thing. The shaggy puppy beast. Todd. And then he just closes the door and goes back to his empty room, watching ships that are not coming in.
Yeah, I'm working on that.
Yep. He's like, so, what can I do for you, Captain Captain Masterson?
Yes. Well, I will be very clear with you as to what exactly is going on. Core World is interested in expanding into the system.
Yeah.
You've been making a lot of steps in that direction. You've been starting to make the right moves, pushing the right agendas, and saying the right things out loud. I'm here to check for Imperial compliance and to see how things are going. And we'd like to know what Omcom and your good friends over there at Paragon are willing to do to ensure that compliance is met quickly and efficiently.
Omcon is doing business in many of the systems that have already complied and joined the core, or are on the fast track to join the core systems. So basically, tell me what you need.
I need construction teams and actual Omcon builders building sites here for the population that will end up cohabitating with the existing settlements. If this becomes an actual fully functional shipyard, The population will have to double or triple in order to get everything up and running the way it's supposed to.
Oh, absolutely. Um,
I need a commitment from OMCON that they will get started with that immediately.
well, I'll do what I can. Unfortunately, OMCON thus far hasn't seen fit to support the reconstruction here yet because they are waiting on the government contracts to have sole control, or rather sole interest in the shipyards, and then revitalize the shipyards towards building more colony ships and things that align with the MO of our organization.
How often have you dealt with the core world government itself,
Um,
personally?
I'm not sure. You mean representatives of the core?
Yeah, and the structure of how the core works.
Um, Me personally, not so much. Most of what I do is out on the rim. Usually, the core worlds, core elites, government representatives will approach the OMCON representatives that are stationed out in the core worlds when they say, we would like to start a new colony on this planet we have heard of. I more go to colonies that are already established and see what they might want from us and what we can do for each other. So
I can virtually guarantee you that the core worlders will not allow any single megacorp to completely control this asset. You are going to have to adjust your operational intensity to be realizing that you're going to have to share with the people over Paragon that you absolutely can't stand.
yes, it's been this has been an
Now,
issue in the system for a while now.
there's far too much potential power for one mega corporation to control everything that they're going to pit you against each other to make you fight over control while answering their quotas and meeting their needs. I'm just showing you which way the weather's blowing.
Okay. So what you're looking for is incentive to ally with one or the other?
No, I'm giving you fair warning that if you're not meeting our needs ahead of time, you will be left behind because whoever makes the best deal for the colony, for the people here, will be the ones who are left picking up the scraps.
Well,
So if you
mm-hmm.
can come up with incentives for your people to get them motivated and moving now, that will look very favorably in my report when I submit it for the compliance department.
Well, I do what I can to, you know, create positive interactions with those living in this colony now. But to actually start revitalizing the shipyard, that would require a contract first.
You might want to start working on the paperwork for that.
Okay.
Because if you're not, the people over at Paragon are. I would expect to have a 50-50 control. Actually, I would expect to have a 49-49 control over the shipyard, with the colony itself having a 2% ownership, so they can decide who's actually going to make them the best deal.
Okay, so are you here for core government compliance, or are you trying to rebuild this colony?
They're the same thing. If the colony prospers, the core is stronger.
It is, but a large number of the people in this colony are supernaturals, which the core is not favorable towards.
They won't be much of a problem for much longer.
All right. Well, it's too bad. Officially, my company has no official stance on supernaturals.
What's your unofficial stance on supernaturals, just between us?
You know, different people in the galaxy have different skill sets, all of which can be useful under the right circumstances. And as OMCON focuses most on colonizing, on building new colonies, we have a lot of Supernats working for us in other systems. Obviously not this one. And we regularly work with the unions, which have been, as far as I could tell, completely undermined in this system, and I actually, it would hurt my case with local government if I started trying to contract with the unions. Which is frustrating, because the unions are very efficient to work with. My company is in the business of sustaining life.
If I could provide you with a supernatural workforce that wanted to not be in this system, but could go into the other places where you do have contracts where they're allowed, would that be of interest?
That I think we could work with. If the Supernats here aren't going to be allowed to stay, we have plenty of colonies on other worlds where we could send them contracted or even just as colonists. And
Now,
that definitely helps our bottom line. Maybe not here, but somewhere.
No, I would need guarantees of protection and that these people would not just disappear into the night and never be seen again.
Oh, yes. Omcon is a corporation set in the Expanse, which, while currently the sympathies are changing, the Expanse was the old Rim.
Yes.
So, yes, we have a neutral stance on these politics because we have to work in all three sectors.
Yes.
But yeah, I've been doing my best to help these people with limited allowed resources without raising the ire of local government. But yeah, I could definitely help some ship out if they're looking for, if they want to colonize somewhere else. They're doing a great job on this colony, so.
Excellent.
And you need their protection guaranteed?
Yes.
Well, I mean, we do work with the Mercenaries Union and the Spacefarer and the Exploration Union, so yeah, we could work something out.
Excellent. As soon as you have the paperwork put together.
All right. So this would be a paper. So the paperwork so the paperwork you want is us working out controlling 49% of the shipyard.
Correct. The other 49 other percent will be controlled by Paragon. The other, I realize, but that's the only way that we're going to have some sort of a balance. The other 2% of the shipyard is controlled by the colony itself.
Mm-hmm. Or the remaining colony.
Whoever ends up living here,
mm-hmm.
They have 2% ownership of the shipyard.
That seems, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm in the business of building colonies, so yeah, that seems reasonable to me. Well, the colonists part, honestly, Omcom would rather have 51% controlled by the colony than have to share with Paragon, but these are not the circumstances I'm working with, I understand.
If Paragon chooses not to play ball, that deal may be on the table.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that'll get more gears turning than just saying 49%. So I'll let that settle in unofficially with my superiors.
Excellent.
But yes,
I've heard good things from the colonists about you. They don't know what to do with you, but you haven't pissed anybody off.
I do what's best for business. And again, we are in the business of building colonies and helping people build colonies. So, it doesn't cost us much to just be nice.
True.
But on the other hand, like I said, we have a long history of working openly with supernaturals because they generally want to colonize the new places for one reason or another.
Mm.
Obviously, we're pro-expansion because expansion is, or we're pro-expansion into the, onto the rim.
Yes.
So yes, I'm looking at my notes. So yes, I mean, my company isn't necessarily against the expansion of core government, because then it means expansion further out into the rim of space where we do our business.
Yes.
But it's rather a nuisance that a large part of our workforce is forcibly being forced out of the Expanse. And there have been some systems where we were not able to get our own people out in time, and then our hands were tied in the face of local government wanting to very cruelly impact new laws on the population. So personally, I would not mind getting ahead of what happened in Sanditon.
Yeah, that was ugly.
That was a terrible waste of resources, as my superiors would say.
And people. A terrible waste of people.
Yes, indeed.
So, after you get finished with this project, I have another system you might be interested in at least making inroads to. You probably won't be able to get corporate control or anything resembling it, but there are a couple of places that you might be able to make some positive headway with your corporation's stance on things.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, resources are resources. We do not discriminate.
Excellent. I am hoping that the Paragon
officially we don't discriminate. I can't say I speak for every representative and employee, but we regularly work with the unions.
Excellent. I'm hoping the Paragon representative is a third of useful as you are.
I strongly doubt it, but I'm pretty biased.
Well, he's going to have to deal with the fact that he got one of his corporate trucks robbed earlier this week, so
true.
That may put him in a different mood.
True. Is there any word on who did that?
Last I heard, nothing was noted, but I haven't been paying real close attention to the news since I got over here.
Yes, well, I mean, our corporate modus operandi are completely diametrically opposed to each other, as my corporation is in the interest of preserving and extending life geographically speaking. They're in the practice of taking it by force and ending life.
There are some things you cannot deal with, that you cannot make deals with. Some things have to be killed.
I understand that position, but
I would rather there were a stronger moral center for the people who were making that decision than people who owed to a bottom line.
I dare say, again, I'm biased, but I dare say Paragon is far more interested in its bottom line than any kind of moral center.
That could be an issue.
But that said, their current representative, well, he's not the most useful fellow, but I understand he hasn't done anything too terrible to raise the ire of the locals.
No, but they don't know what to do with him either.
No, I mean, at least, a water station, a first aid station are helpful.
Yeah.
And not in the way.
Yeah.
Well, so I have some phone calls to make, but my Katies are more than capable of running the truck while I'm making some phone calls.
Excellent.
So, anything else, Captain Masterson?
No, I think that'll be all for today.
All right. Well, thank you for this interesting opportunity.
Yes.
And he gets up and holds his hand out again, handshake, good firm handshake. Very nice slicked back hair. And he shakes hands with the head of operations. Well, I guess we'll be working together a lot, maybe. Let's hope. And and he heads out. Looking not ecstatic, but he's like, I have some things to do. You can tell he's interested and engaged. Not completely happy, but, no
Well, no,
one's going to be happy as long as they're not getting full control over the colony.
managed happiness and expectations are all I can do.
Yeah. Okay, so just to go over it again for my notes. So what you want for him is to start setting up the superiors' contracts as if they are getting 49% controlling interest.
Yes.
Okay. Actually, it's 2 minutes to break. So, I think we'll start our 10-minute break now, chat. S-Sphere, is there anything you wanted to do before the thing?
I think Isphere would probably just be like going around town, getting a sense of where people are at, and
Okay.
kind of just doing a little informal information gathering, basically.
Okay, then we can do that in the next half.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because that will dovetail nicely into the numbers you get.
I need water anyways.
Yeah. Alright, so chat, this is where we take a 10-minute break. And hopefully we can get right into game and not have me meander with my mouth for 20 minutes.
It's okay, we weren't helping.
I mean, I'm the GM, I'm the producer. I should be able to focus on my own damn channel and game, but anyway, 10-minute break, chat. Go get a drink, go get some water, go make some 3-minute ramen.
Or hot cocoa.
Go make a who's
actually, never mind, iced cocoa.
If you're in the southern hemisphere, go get some hot chocolate. We are dying in the northern hemisphere. Don't do that. Fadir presses X.
Yeah, I'm not getting that.
I know. Press X to doubt.
Okay, I don't get it. Someone will explain to me later. Put it in chat. I'll read it. So yeah, chat. 10-minute break, and we'll see you in a few minutes. Bye.
Hello.
Hello, chat. We are back. This is Magic Fish Radio, and we do tabletop RPG games on Tuesdays and Saturdays. And we are open for new casting. And let me copy that link again, or someone else can do it, so I can keep talking and not
just
be distracted.
did the Discord. You can find it in there. It's the casting channel.
Yahoo!
Join our Discord.
Join our Discord. Stream with us. We can't pay you, but if that's not a problem, come hang out with us. Come game with us. And Tuesday night, we start with session 0 of the G.I. Joe game, Relics of War. Brain. And we're having a session 0 because we're not sure whether or not Essence 20 is a playable system yet. So the Essence 20 game, the session 0 will be educational for you and us.
Yay!
As myself and GM John have already had a traumatic experience with Essence 20 Power Rangers.
It's also on brand because knowing is half the battle.
Indeed. I'm gonna start saying that. I forgot that was that came from G.I. Joe. I'm gonna say that a lot. Also, GM John has promised deep lore and deep cuts, because he is more of his one true fandom is Transformers, but he's read a lot of the G.I. Joe comics too. So if you are a big G.I. Joe fan, even if you don't want to play in the game, watch it. I'm sure it'll be fun. I trust GM John more than I trust Essence 20. Like, as much as you can trust any GM. I say, as the GM.
I have concerns now.
Yes. But yes, join our Discord. Vibe check us. We have an excellent shitposting channel because Merc is excellent at it. And yeah, come game with us. Come hang out with us. We're fun. And following, so we're going to have 4 episodes of G.I. Joe. And then 4 episodes of Anime 5e. And then, because I whined about it a lot, 4 episodes of Star Wars!
Star Wars!
Oh, can we play our Star Wars? Please?
We'll be good.
We'll be good, or very bad, whichever you want.
Everybody else promised not to be stupid. I said I give no promises.
I may or may not be stupid. We'll see.
Listen, I figure Star Wars, it's not Star Wars unless you do something stupid like jump in the trash compactor.
I don't know. I finally finished watching Mando, and he doesn't do that much stuff that's stupid. Maybe he sometimes
adopts a
gets
space baby.
Well, I mean, the space baby helped him not die of a mudhorn attack.
Okay, that's fair.
So, he's more like he makes mistakes when he gets overwhelmed. So, anyway, yeah, I just caught up on some of the Star Wars. Anyway, this game. Exit to Eden, a world of darkness and space. It's NWoD in a far-flung space future where the Supernats are on the run from the government. And our protagonists are part of an underground railroad, but there's also a big hole in the planet, and they have to close it before they leave, or the abyss will leak all over the place. There's a lot going on. I also saw Book of Fett, but it did not have the same emotional resonance as Mando. Except for when Mando showed up. I do need to watch more of the cartoons. Game. Talk to me about Star Wars on the Discord! That's what it's for! I make more sense on the Discord because I can edit things because they're typed. So, yes. So, Holiday, you are not able to get an appointment with the guy doing Paragon stuff before the all-call meeting, which the Megacorps are not invited to, for some reason. Esphere, you wanted to hang out and talk to people and figure out what the overall, like, feelings or numbers or feelings about numbers?
Yeah, she just kind of wants to get a sense of like the Night Court Prince told her, what was it, 111?
113.
113.
Including you, because they're pretentious like that. Yeah. But they like it, so. Pretentious but helpful in this time.
So she's just trying to get like a general sense of like the town mood of like where, are people gonna come and fight? Are they not? Like, are they gonna move, or who's gonna kind of like feeling out, where these things that Holiday floated in the town meeting are going, and kind of just like report back before the thing, like, hey, heads up, just so you're not like blindsided by lack of help or not. She's trying to make herself useful-ish.
So, are you talking to just changelings, or?
No, she'd be kind of just walking randomly around the different spheres and or biodomes, sorry, and just getting a sense.
Roll me a roll. Let me look at your sheet. I'm still getting used to what your sheet looks like.
Yeah, if you want me to do a different sheet, let me know. I just used the one that I think
it was
given to me.
Unfortunately, Mr. 571 is no longer gaming with us because his job exploded with extra workload, which is sad. Or it's possible that werewolves are cursed in this game.
Like they're forsaken.
Yep. But yes, he offered to make me some fun randomized stuff to make running stuff easier, and built a character sheet for new players. Okay, I'd say this is gonna be presence streetwise.
Not bad at either of those. Okay. 9.
Okay.
No, wait, hang on. Sorry, 10. 11. I missed math.
Okay, so that's 2 successes.
No.
So I'll say, so 2 successes. So we'll say you get a good sense of what the changelings are doing. Although no exact numbers. And I'll say. Okay, so there are a decent number. So there are easily about 6,000 of changelings here. Maybe no one's taken a really exact census count. you've less than 1,000 going, but a lot of changelings are not combatants.
Okay.
Is powers are more divided, and a lot of these folks come from a system where they were actively hiding the fact that they were changelings more than in other systems. So there was less, less freedom to do flashy fight. And more people here have like stealth powers.
Useful.
Yeah.
But not particularly for this combat.
But yeah, a decent number so some people here and there from the various court, like your Night Court is sending 113 because they're the Night Court. You get a sense that a few members of the other court. There's also people who think that what if the humans notice we're going back to the planet and then they nuke this place? So it's like people are staying behind to try and like defend the colony.
Yeah.
And also people are starting, Liz has started people mobilizing and working out logistics for moving
ourselves. Yeah.
So a lot of people might be staying behind to work on that.
Yeah.
However, so the werewolves haven't gotten a new dome. They've kind of settled in to one of the older domes because there were already some werewolves on this colony for some reason before people, the colony doubled in size. There is a huge to-do in the werewolf dome, and there are clearly a lot of werewolves going to party.
She just kind of, when she sees that, gives them a thumbs up.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, and they offer you like there's like a barbecue going, and there's dancing, and there's screaming, and there's people doing ritual branding, and it's a party in there.
Okay, she'll stay for like the free food and drinks for like about an hour, but like when they start like saying you want like gesturing the face, she'll like politely nope out.
They are not that someone will see you, like they see you looking at them tattooing, they're like, do you want?
And she'll just gesture to her night court and I already got what I want. Anything else,
Okay, cool.
I'm good.
But it's clearly this is all tribal werewolf stuff going on, so like they're not super pushy on making a changeling do it too, because it's not you're not part of the culture as far as they are aware.
Yeah, no. So she'll just kind of hang out with the werewolves for a bit.
And there are werewolves also, staying behind to defend, but like there's a lot of werewolves going.
Okay.
Definitely the werewolves are more overall excited about this than any other of the splats or peoples.
Yeah, I was figuring she probably, out of anybody, the most that she'd get information on would be the changelings and werewolves, so this makes sense in my head.
I mean, the vampires are kind of keeping to themselves because they're vampires. And you can't really tell what mages look like.
Yeah. Other than Tilly, because...
Or Tibby.
Tibby. I don't know why I keep calling her Tilly.
But yeah, so...
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, she'll hang out with the werewolves probably until the time of the meeting and just enjoy good food and drink.
Yep. They're more than happy to share.
Yeah. Send a message to Holiday on her pad because her wrist pad because I'm assuming we swap numbers and be like, yeah, like party at Werewolf Dome. Werewolves all four. Most changelings staying behind to pack. Can't find mages. Vampires.
What the F do mages look like?
And then she'll just be like, vampires, I don't fucking know.
So yeah, and the meeting rolls around. And it's not really a private meeting. They've more or less just kind of set up a table on top of that little like stage thingy. And there are people milling about who are not necessarily monarchs or leaders. They just want to hear what's going on. So there's no reason S-Sphere shouldn't be there.
Yeah, S-Sphere will just like do the thing in high school where you're not supposed to, but you sit on the cafeteria table with your feet on the chair and then just like sit there waiting for everybody.
Yep.
Tail just going back and forth as she waits.
Yep, and the prince and I had a list of NPCs that were showing up. Where did it go? Yeah, so the vampire Prince Xandar shows up. Aberlim, the very put upon looking vampire mage, wizard, you don't know.
Magic bullshit's magic bullshit.
A big burly woman who's some kind of vampire. Actually, I'd say the sheriff. She's wearing a little Deva rose pin, a little Deva insignia, but she doesn't seem to have a covenant designation. Okay. Well, this is more for Petruchio. Esphir has no idea. She's big burly vampire lady. Cool.
Hot.
Petruchio.
Are there vampires that aren't in a covenant?
Yep. You have to have a clan. Well, yeah, I believe there's no more Caitiff clan-wise Caitiff. You have to be one of 5 types of vampire. But politically, there are definitely non-covenant. It's weird, but, you know.
Yeah.
Some vamps gotta do their own thing.
Oh, just out of curiosity, as Esphir's watching people come in, does the one werewolf chick show up, like the Von True one?
She does not.
Okay.
That bitch is not there.
I didn't, yeah, I was trying to be nice about it.
Liz and some of the other monarchs you've seen or heard about come in. You can actually see the Shadow King.
She'll just wave.
And he's like even more Slender Man. Because he's a Darkling. He's a very tall, skinny Darkling.
Yeah, she'll have like her shadow tentacles do the
like,
hey!
Shadow wave. All the changelings are some changelings seem creeped out by that, but you know, it's a shadow court.
If she notices them being creeped out, then she's gonna like take her tentacles and kind of use them to make like a Cthulhu face and an opening going rah.
There are some werewolves that Esphir saw at the barbecue, who are kind of in the middle of things. And they're kind of, you're not sure they're the same pack, but they come in like a pack of wolves because they're wolves.
So, okay, she just like, sup, and is like probably still munching on a hamburger or something.
Yeah, and they're like, yeah, this is cool. And a few other werewolves come in with them to kind of be around and hear what's going on, and because it's easier than them having to tell everyone over and over again.
Yeah. Okay. It's like you tell this group, tell this group, and then
you do sense that there are some vampires and there are some Supernats live texting this to other people, hopefully on the colony. The weird mage lady comes in with a guy wearing a whole bunch of like armor and weapons. Does not overtly seem to be supernatural, but you know.
She kind of takes a second blink at that and is like, for a second, she in her brain she goes Dune, and then like has to look again and is like, wait, no, not Dune.
This guy is you can't really tell his build that well because is it a he? I didn't write it. It's a lot of armor. Dune, I don't think wears as much overt armor. This is like not quite Mandalorian armor, but it's like it's shiny armor.
Okay, well, she like
kind of in some of them there is sort of little inscription of an arrow symbol. Means something.
I have no clue what to ask to roll for that.
There are no mages.
Mage bullshit.
It's mage bullshit. Yeah, maybe he's a mage because he came in with someone you know is a mage, but you know.
Or constructs exist in like outside of Prometheans?
There's fetches.
Oh, goody.
Aside from that, not really. People have like cybernetic implants and limbs.
Okay. I just didn't know if like golems and things like that were as like in other.
There are some constructs in vampire, but they're like homunculi.
I was like Samitsi.
Yeah, they're like creepy little monsters that the Circle of the Crone really like.
Yeah.
There are definitely changelings that look like constructs because alien abduction trauma porn. But there isn't aside from Prometheans, there isn't much that's like warforged in D&D.
That's
Except for changelings. There are definitely changelings who are like warforged, because any horrible thing you can imagine can be a changeling.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure. Like, I've been deep diving into World of Darkness lore, so I was like, I haven't come across it. I'll just double check and ask out of character knowledge. But cool, she just kind of clocks that and is like, huh.
Also remember, NWoD and OWoD lore are not all the same.
No, I need to,
Yeah.
I just need like 7 of me to absorb all the lore.
Yeah, there's too much. So you've got people up on that little stage around this table. People have taken out, various pads and numbers and data pads, and
yeah, she's just sitting on the table, going like this, just waiting.
And Prince Xandar is like, all right, so does everyone have their numbers? And people nod of varying degrees of excited and disappointed. The prince kind of actually takes a step back and sits in their big chair. Again, because they're presiding, they're not running this thing. Mr. Aberlim is, and Aberlim's like, unfortunately, we could not muster many kindred to join the fight effort, so... Sheriff, do you have the exact numbers? And the large woman who, well, Petruchia, I guess she's the sheriff. Yeah, I'm gonna go. But for the most part, we've got about 300 kindred going. Most of them are gangrel. Most of them are probably out partying with the werewolves right now. And the werewolves like, yeah. So, that's what we got. Most of our local kindred are just not combatants. We don't got a lot of fighters in this town, because we've been, well, I mean, I would think it's true of most of the Supernats here, and she kind of looks around, like, we've all been hiding in this system for a while. So, we've been less flashy combat stuff, and more hiding stuff. Or, building or trying to build influences in local government and businesses, but, all that burnt down in the last few months. We've got 300 out of around 6 grand. Kindred don't like getting their hands dirty, what can I say? I will, but I was not able to cajole the locals. And there are plenty of kindred who have decided this isn't their problem, and I was unable to... None of us were able to sway them otherwise. But again, most of our people aren't fighters.
Yeah, Isphere looks like she kind of wants to say, even though there's going to be a black hole as well as the damn planet, but she keeps her mouth shut.
Well, it's not their planet.
This is true. So she keeps her mouth shut because it's a pointless argument.
So that's what we got. But I mean, the gangrel are really excited. Because they, a lot of our, our local gangrel get along really well with the local, Aratha, and, they hear about all this cool werewolf stuff, and fights, and battles, and, we don't have the same abilities, so they don't really get to play. So, the gangrel are real happy to go. And Mr. Avalon is just like, well, it's not really a surprise. Alright, what has everyone else got? And Liz, seems to be taking point. Well, and she takes out her data pad. Overall, we have about 700 changelings. 350, well, of the combined Summer and Nova Court. And some in the room are like, they are looking for something to do that isn't building domes. She just rolls her eyes. 113 members of the Night Court, and she looks kind of quizzically over at the Lord Slenderman. And is, yes.
Isphere's tentacles like start holding up a sign that says "Yay!"
Everyone, all the changelings are just very creeped out. Liz just sort of shrugs and says, well, help is help. And about 230 or 240 spread out over the other 13 courts. Again, yes. Well, I mean, the Summer and Nova Court are often martially inclined, but most changelings in town in this system have also been focusing on powers of persuasion and obfuscation. More so than making statements, although there is plenty to fight in the hedge. But yes, also a great number of changelings are due to the fact that there is something already in the colony charter against Arcadian entities. Most of the changelings have already started packing to move out. And there's, you know, just, are there any other crowns? There are a few other crowned monarchs. You see the green leaves of the Spring Court. You see the black thorns of the Winter Court. You see the halo of the Dawn King, the Sun King, who is technically both the direct opposite of the Moon King, but you're also that's the system that yeah, it's weird. But they're all kind of letting Liz take point, because you know this is battle and she's a summer queen, so yeah, this is her deal. The dude in armor kind of steps up and is like, so we've got about 200 mages looking to go. To be honest, there aren't as many of us as, well, as other Supernats in general. Although it doesn't always seem that way, because, you know, we're a bit flash. But 200 mages are going, most of them adamantine arrow. So, yeah, we're the combat-oriented organization within Mage Society.
Ah, goes the room.
Yes, and that's on top of the mage. Oh no, looks down as that's including about 50 magi who are going to be of varying paths and traditions, who are going to be working with Megara to close the wound, brute force style. So, yeah, that's not really surprising. I mean, there's just fewer mages overall, and yeah, a lot are staying to defend the colony and also have started to pack. There are some mages who are trying to build us stuff to take with us and enhance equipment, so we're going to see how far we can get with that. But yeah, again, we don't have a lot of combatants among our people for the reasons stated by the other representatives. And, you know, everyone looks at the werewolf who's taken lead of the ones on stage. There is no werewolf here, so you have no idea what her tattoos mean. But she's got a lot of brands and tattoos. Everyone, roll me int occult or int politics. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll go
I'm
with that.
I'm not terrible at ant politics.
16. So 3 successes.
3 successes.
Wait, 16? Yeah, 3 successes.
Yeah.
6.
Does bureaucracy help?
No.
10.
Okay, that's 1 success.
I didn't
23.
fail. That's the important
23.
part.
I'd say that's enough for all 3 of you to realize that the more tattoos and brands a werewolf has, generally the more respected they are by other werewolves. Holiday, I would say, you know, because you've worked with them in other forums where it's actually part of them, like, going up in rank to get more brands that are... You can see them mundanely, but they seem to have some kind of also magic attached to them. And you've maybe once or twice seen, you know, a lower rank werewolf get cranky or something, and then the higher rank werewolf does a thing, and then all their brands start to glow. Look pretty cool. But she's not pulling rank. Hers aren't glowing, because, you know, this is just a chat, and, you know, no one's pulling rank on her. Yeah, the 23, I'd say, she has brands that are, you think they're called Iron Masters. They're, like, the more technologically, like, I mean, everyone uses technology in the future, but these are the werewolves who specialize in, like, making magic technology. Especially weapons. Very much but, you know, they're werewolves. So, this lady steps up, we have 1,200 werewolves going. Ooh. So, again, that's still a fraction of the werewolves we have on planet, but again, yeah, people want to defend territory, and people want to start packing up to move. I mean, this whole thing, you know, among our community, let's just say a lot of werewolves would rather fight monsters than build domes. Building a community is important in maintaining our culture and everyone else's culture, but, like, I think a lot of my people are already talking about, you know, and researching, like, what systems out on the rim might need a battalion of werewolves to fight whatever issues they have on planet.
I actually have a follow-up for that.
Oh, what have we got? Mr. Masterson? Holiday? What was your name?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
I've got several.
Smart.
I talked to the OMCOM people today. They are willing to offer safe passage for Supernats who want to go out into the rim, as long as they're willing to work for OMCOM for a little bit. They'll work with Merca. They'll work with the Guild.
Oh.
Safe passage, right?
Yeah, safe passage to those places. They view Supernats as a valuable resource in dealing with our sort of problems. So if anybody's not going to Eden, OMCOM is willing to get you to a lot of different places.
Liz kind of sighs. Well, I suppose the devil you know. Of course, they don't consider us to be people, but they also don't consider standard humans to be people either. But if they're willing to, if they're still working, yes, I believe they are still working with the guilds and unions, so...
Unions, that was the word I was thinking of.
They're mostly interchangeable. Yes, I think... I mean, would they be willing to pick anyone else up here now?
Don't know yet. Working on that with the other project. I need to go punch the Paragon guy in the face and have a conversation with him after I get done here.
If you're going to punch him in the face, please get it on video. I'd love to see that. I mean, of the two of them, the OMCON representative is more personable, and again, we are all things, not people. But
So I'll tell you what my proposed plan is. It's a partnership between the colony, OMCON, and Paragon for control of the shipyards and the colony itself. OMCON and Paragon control 49% of the shipyards each. Colony controls 2%, which means the colony gets to decide what the colony wants to do in regards to policy.
But how? Well, so this is what you're proposing to both of the. This is Abralim talking. This is what you're proposing to the representatives of the two megacorps.
Yes, the OMCON rep is already talking to his supervisors to get the paperwork started.
What happens if they find out you're not exactly who you say you are?
Then everything burns to the ground, but that was going to happen anyway, if we get found.
I mean, you're not wrong. So, all right, mate. So for now, this is a smokescreen to just keep them distracted, or in the hopes...
No, in the long run, it's a real thing. It has the power of law. It is a contract.
There are still... I mean, this colony, I believe, was mostly humans before we got here. So they will be happy for the bureaucracy in place, I'm sure.
And OMCON is willing to start building more domes and other things once we get the paperwork moving. So they will assist with the construction for the people who do end up staying.
Yes, some of our people had some tried to have some dealings with the OMCON representative about that. But yes, without an official contract, his superiors were not allowing him to help us in that regard, so we've had to finance it ourselves. We should see if we can get any kickbacks, since we did finance the buildings of these domes already, which means less work for them when they try to revitalize the colony in the shipyard.
Sure.
Fair.
Not my department.
The vampires are nodding in agreement because that's a very vampire thing to say.
So,
Sphere just looks very just shakes her head and is like, vampire bullshit, got it.
Yep.
just in terms of the people who think this isn't their fight, while we expect to have quite a lot of capacity, all capacity is limited. And we're going to have to give priority to those who've helped out with this problem. It's only fair.
Is that what we discussed at the town hall, though? That it
Nope.
didn't matter. Oh,
No.
so,
I mean, now obviously, if we end up having enough capacity for everyone, then we do. It's not a problem. But it's something to bring back to people, make sure that people know that, well, nobody's being forced to help out with this. So
listen, I don't know who you are. Terms of deal was it didn't matter who helped or who didn't help. If there's room on the ship, we will try to get you on ship.
Yes,
that
we
is
will.
what I understood, Mr. Holiday.
it's true. It's true. However, the people who are helping out already have a place on the ship. So I'm not saying we'll run out. We don't plan to run out.
All right, in that case, should the people planning to go and fight also just sort of pack their belongings for the long haul?
I
It would
would.
save on the logistics problems quite a bit.
Indeed it would. The bottleneck was the biggest problem I had, and she takes out a data pad. All right, I was able to talk to some of the other local leaders. So we have about 30,000 people to move off planet. Looking at what's on the hollow ship, there's room to fit 5,000 people comfortably, but I mean, it's not like, as long as we are allowed use of the jump gate, which is the other bottleneck problem. If we
Quite.
have to actually drive to another, so to speak, to another system and use their jump gate, this could be a problem.
Agreed. The especially for anyone, but especially for us, the void is not a friendly place.
No, indeed not, and we don't have as many mages as other communities. And it does sound like magi are the best line of defense against the void of the abyss. And then at the armor guy's like, yeah, you're not wrong. So, I mean, we're not unused to discomfort at this place, at this point, in this place, and she motions to the entire dome that you're in. So if, Captain Masterson, if you could get Omcon to maybe, if they have any colonizing ships already moving out that wouldn't mind picking some people up now, it might help alleviate some of the strain later.
I'm waiting for them to get the paperwork signed in to make this an official contract, but I will go ahead and put that bug in their ear. So I pull out my tiny phone and start sending notes.
Mm-hmm. I think that would be wisest. Does anyone else have anything else? Does anyone disagree with that? And the other representatives are like, no, that sounds good. In fact, if, I mean, you said some of the werewolves have already been researching colonies, so I think that there are already many people raring to go, so to speak.
We should. Speaking of which, we can distribute a certain amount of literature on the subject. We are a tourist board, a tourist agency, after all.
Oh yes. If you could give Tobias was his name. I'm sure he could spread things around if he had a link to an online document or a digital document.
Absolutely.
Okay, so it clicks for
Tobias
Isphere
Tobias kind of looks up over the edge of the stage. Someone say my name. Hey, what do you want me to do? What information? Like how to be a colonist, or like what?
Oh, how to be a colonist is good, but also an options brochure for different ways different colonies people might be interested in looking at.
Okay. Well, hey, are there any typey werewolves that want to help with these, since y'all have already been doing the research? And the Iron Master lady's like, yeah, I'll come back to the dome with you. He's like, the dome is really loud. She's like, if you want to work with werewolves, you gotta deal with the volume. She's like, bring some earplugs, kid. Like, come on. Like, I'm probably older than you. Don't sass.
So Isphere chuckles at that exchange,
the
but
prince
also
says, Tobias, please don't sass the werewolves. Yes, prince. He's like, I'll search for one. But he's going over to where some werewolves are hanging out, and he's like, oh, does anyone have any earplugs? And they're chatting, and he's got a day to pad out and figuring stuff out.
So I will say, Isphere's figured out that Petruchio actually works with Holiday on this whole tourist thing, because she's never met Petruchio, so she has no clue who the fuck they are. And
well, he's not breathing and he's not blinking.
Oh no, she gets that they're a vampire. She just didn't know, like, who the fuck said that you could decide who's going on the ship?
Oh, I get to decide who goes on the ship.
Yeah, she doesn't know that. She's never met Petruchio. She's very confused, hence her, like, excuse you.
Who is this guy?
Well, if that comes
she
up,
thought Holiday was involved, like the boss.
Well, if that comes up, well, it's my ship, so.
It will probably come up here in a minute, but she's just like very confused and like looking between Holiday, back to Petruchio, Holiday, Petruchio. You can see the gears going.
Okay. And for the record, I rolled all these numbers, so oh well.
We have like what, over 1,000 people gonna go jump in the hole? It's fine.
2,000 and some change.
2,400.
Yeah, it should be fine.
So, and yeah, so the Iron Master, puts her data pad down, and it's like, all right, so what's the plan?
Oh.
Y'all have you guys have seen this territory, like, unless I take it you weren't there long enough to get like a hollow rep going.
I'll start sketching out a map because I have eidetic memory.
Oh, okay.
Oh, useful.
So the problem is that the wound itself distorts space-time, so you can be literally walking through a doorway and bounce 2 blocks away.
The mages and the werewolves all nod.
But I will start laying out the map as I remember it.
Mm-hmm. All right, so
do we have a solid plan for the insert? Obviously, the most dangerous place is around the hollow itself, but we are going to want to not run into too much trouble on the way in.
You mean around the wound?
Oh, I mean around Limos.
Oh.
My credentials should get us onto Limos without any problems.
Very well. Backup plan?
We all die.
Dead of night?
I don't like that plan.
Worst comes to worst, they can follow your ship and my ship and veer off and make big destruction.
Fair.
Are you sure your ship will be able to get clearance to land on Limos given the crime, or on Logoi given the recent crime?
I got permission to leave Limos after the crime occurred.
No, I know you did. I just don't know about
This is if we don't all get in. I'm assuming I can push my ship out of their little ship's docking bay and make a big beeline to look like I'm.
Does your ship have a docking bay?
I don't think so.
Yeah, we don't.
Oh,
we
never
don't
mind.
Docking bay.
Oh, she just shrugs. I'm trying to. I don't know.
I mean,
Theoretically, you could set it for autopilot and remote control from our ship.
That also works.
I mean, presumably you're also coming here before we mass exodus off the planet, so assuming you don't die in battle, you will be back to collect your own ship.
Yeah.
Also works.
Yes, you can. If you want to come in our ship, that'll probably simplify the problem.
The other issue is how do we manage to not raise suspicion by having 2,400 supernaturals disembark from one ship? Like a clown car.
The clown car problem had occurred to me as well.
I mean,
the most obvious is to have our docking base be somewhere that's close to the wound, such that people aren't necessarily watching as people get off.
Do you all have extra, I'm assuming, people size crates? Boxes. Worst comes to worst, we just wheel people off in them. Like we're unloading.
Pulling out
2,400.
The cubic mass of our ship will not contain that many boxes.
You have to. Never mind.
I realize what you're attempting to say, but it's the same problem. It's just instead of people coming out, it's cargo.
It's an idea.
It's not a bad one.
Yes,
But
and people noticing that much cargo in Ponos is going to alert the authorities because they're going to assume it's all contraband.
Is there an option to take a shortcut through the hedge? Or some other liminal space?
I don't necessarily want to fuck with the hedge in Limos,
Yes.
given the last time.
The hedge, I assume, has become quite unruly.
It was the last time we were in it.
Yes, because they're no longer... Well, aside from, I understand, one small group from the Church of the Weird are still there for some reason. But
They have a thing.
yes.
Still might be simpler than trying to sneak an army off the ship the normal way.
Possibly. I mean... Well, the other option is we coordinate who has powers of stealth and who can stealth multiple people.
Don't suppose we could take down cameras in docking bay, but
That'll work. We'll need to disable or trick the Supernat detectors,
Yeah,
which we're gonna need to do anyway.
the head werewolf is also giggling at that. She's like, we could take out the cameras.
it's just only one.
Tobias laughs from somewhere in the corner. All the hackers in the room are like, lol.
Cameras are fine. We're also going to want to make sure to deal with the Supernat detectors as well. They deal with Supernat reacting matter. We've done a bunch of research into how those work.
There aren't any Supernat detectors on our path
that we know of.
As long as
they weren't the last time.
I mean, as long as we land in Ponos, which shouldn't be a problem, since no one wants to be there. I'm sure they have quite a lot of space.
Yes, but that docking bay is inhabited. It's someone's home. Which I look over at the changeling and I go, it's someone's home.
I hold up my hand.
You know, the ability to take control of a building.
Oh, well, it's a place of business, but I think
there are vagrants who live there, though. So it is their home.
True. Vicious, but true.
We have to be vicious. There's no other way we can win.
Indeed. And you hear a bunch of werewolves and summer chords like, yeah. She's just like, moving on. Alright, so we'll have to have more talks with our troops about who has stealth ability. I mean, quite a few people in this system have stealth abilities of one kind or another.
Well,
it's very easy.
After I talk to the Wonder Child at Paragon, I may have another plan that may get us in and out without any problems.
All right, keep us posted.
But he has to be very stupid, which I don't think that's going to be the problem.
He's definitely a company man.
Also, the company ate his brains and hauled him out to puppet. Perfect.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Miss Abraham pops up. He's like, I've been talking to some of the mystics of other communities, and I don't think moving through any of the other worlds would be safe when approaching a wound. It sounds like it has a great ripple effect across the other dimensions.
Yeah, we tried to open a hedge gate inside the wound, and that didn't work out very well for anyone involved.
Interesting. So, yes, also, I think it might behoove us to, among the people who are not going, to see if they can do any longer casting of stealth. No, that...
Good thought.
Long casts are difficult for most magics. And they don't cross the gauntlet, which you are or they don't cross the, Abyss, which is technically between our planets. I'm sorry I said anything. Everyone just
That's a good idea. I mean, I tried saying let's put everyone in boxes and wheel them out.
It won't cross the abyss. Will they stay intact if they're in a hollow?
Chris, it's more Chris is thinking a lot of these powers are scene limited because seconding.
Yes.
So that's
so we can't obfuscate a car.
Yeah. Well, you can for maybe a scene. But so that was the trade-off. Changeling powers are absolutely cheddar ridiculous now, but a lot of times they only last for a scene unless otherwise indicated. So
that does mean some people who thought they were useless because they weren't combatants might in fact be useful for the disembarkation plan.
But still, it's scene-based, and
we have to still get them back on the ship.
One scene is landing, one scene is exiting, one scene is getting there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the getting there that's going to be the problem. It's the getting everybody off the ship and into the... I don't know.
Will everyone, now that we know who we're working with, we'll get our people together and we'll figure out who can stealth each other, and then Chris will roll on it.
I was like, I know Isphere got some group stealthy stuff.
But yes, taking out the cameras and security in the area, I don't think will be very difficult. B, probably won't be that noticeable because no one notices. Most authorities ignore Ponos unless they're, bored and out for blood.
Right. We'll need to make sure that despite our protests, they continue to send us to Ponos.
Although, with the recent criminal activity, I wonder if they might be taking greater interest in Ponos, which would be unfortunate.
It depends. Has there been any news? Well, how long have we been here? Has it been like a day or two, or
Like 3 days? Yeah.
Yeah. So, has there been any news about progress on the whole weapons thing?
Not that I've seen, but I'm only looking at the public news. She looks over at Masterson.
I will contact my contact in the government.
Looks over at Master Day.
Hang on.
So
Joe Master Day. There we go.
So Isphere will kind of look at the Night Court Prince like, I know I can do groups of people to get, not there. What about the rest of us?
Out of character? Is that how that power works?
Let's see. It is Cloak of Night. The changeling commands the night and shadows to shield herself and her companions, for she is seeing true darkness. Yada yada yada. It has to be in darkness. Never mind then. I'm gonna.
Oh, it has to be in darkness, so we might have to conk out the lights for that power to work.
Yeah, but it basically says the changeling must invoke this contract while she or her allies are in dim or dark conditions, as is penalty to visible perception rules. She drapes the darkness around a number of willing companions equal to her dexterity rating. The player's stealth rules, which she adds half her character's weird rounded up and bonus die, hides the entire group for as long as one does not do anything to attract undue attention, such as attacking or making loud noise.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say you can't do that to all 2,400 people.
Well, no, but she's saying like small groups.
Yeah.
Like if she can do a group,
And there are
to save the.
and what is this, a contract or is this a?
It's a common contract.
Okay.
I'll post it.
Okay, I'll roll it. But yeah, you do have 113 Night Court members going.
I also have that contract.
Yeah.
Let me.
All right. So yes, we'll work out logistics.
I didn't know what box it was written in.
Chat, you are viewing the wild and exciting world of logistics.
Woohoo!
Logistics.
So that way next week is, or next week is all action.
Statistically, we're going to have a certain number of botches, 10%, and the question is, how do we deal with
that? I just came up with something that can help. Don't tell me that.
I mean, if we have 50 rolls, about 5 of them will be botches.
Well, you've also got fate. The arrow guy's like, so. Fun fact. My people, fate magics can help with logistical nightmare. Fate magics can help with logistical nightmares. I'll see what my people can do. Our stealth abilities can be a little expensive, shall we say, but in the wide scheme of reality. But we do have a lot of people who know how to buff other spellcasters from other communities, and that might help our chances a bit.
Insurance would be excellent, yes.
So I'll go. I think we've got some Acanthus going. And they're the fate people.
Given how much is relying on Holiday's abilities and contacts, if you have a way to help him out as well, that would also be very useful.
Maybe throw a horseshoe at them for extra luck.
And a cold iron one.
Yeah, that's rude.
Why do you think I throw cold iron at you all the day? That is rude. You have been nothing but nice to me.
Yeah, I don't.
Other than sleeping arrangements, but that is different matter.
I've only
You
used.
can't have my bed.
I've only hunted a changeling cold iron once, and that's because he was a privateer.
That is a
Well,
very good reason.
good
And
job.
a friend of mine asked very nicely.
I like you.
And the changelings in the room were like, quiet,
I
clap.
punched a Thera's ass once.
Nice. How did it feel?
Since I punched it with cold iron knuckles, not very good.
Well, sacrifices have to be made sometimes.
Oh, that's right, because you guys were in the one dude in the
Yeah, we were
phrasing. I know.
Inside of Thursdays.
we were inside of you playing another dude. It was amazing.
Inside Animal Crossing Thursdays.
Also, don't watch The Boys. Season.
Oh
season
God,
3,
no!
episode
I'm
1.
not even. No, I don't want. No, we're good.
I want to watch that show. Should I not?
It's good. Just be. We'll tell you all the triggers after.
Oh, there's
Stream.
okay. I can
It's
see them being triggered.
Problems. Okay.
Are they like knowledgeable that what they're doing is problematic or not?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
They're
It's,
very upfront.
so the
Okay.
in-world justification is superheroes were basically taken and raised by megacorps. So it's all the morality problems that come with
Okay,
superheroes
so
being
it's self-aware problematicness.
Yes.
As an allegory. Okay, that I
Yes.
can do.
So, Chris, I'm going to explain my plan to you so that you have time to figure out how bad this
Okay.
is going to go for everybody involved.
So it would be really helpful if someone not me was writing this down.
I will write it down and put it in the chat.
Okay. So.
Because
the
technically it's
plan-
your job to keep track of your own plans.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't want to blindside you with it.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, I don't
'Cause-
mind being blindsided, but yeah, I'm gonna be doing a lot of rolls ahead of time.
Yeah.
For all this.
So the conversation with the Paragon guy is going to be like, all right, if you want to accelerate your market share of the Core World's military procurement budget, here's what I need you to do. I need you to provide arms and equipment for 2,400 individuals. I need you to provide a contract stating that they're performing an operation in conjunction with the Imperial military, with the Core World's military, on Limos. You're not going to know what that operation is, but you're going to sign off on it, because I will countersign it as a Core World's military officer. And then we have explicit authorization from the Imperial military to go into Ponos to go wreck house for a supernatural problem. In exchange for this, you get 49% controlling interest of the shipyards for this planet.
Is it Imperial or what was the
I
name?
call it the Core Worlds. I don't remember what they actually call themselves, but I think it's Empire.
I admit that sounds like a leverage plan, but it feels like it needs something more.
I couldn't hear Lisa.
Lisa, were you shouting at the game?
You need to
No, but I
form
love it. What
The Ollie Oxenfree? What?
what you said is you need to form your own corporation to hold the other 49%, which I think may actually just be a leverage plot. But
We technically isn't Carve its own corporation, so
Yeah.
yes,
But it's not a megacorp.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
give Holiday about a month.
It feels like it needs a deadline, so that suddenly they have to make the decision very fast.
Oh no, this is a high pressure. You have 2 hours to come up with an answer for this question, yes or no.
Mm-hmm.
And if the answer is no, Omcon gets control of this corporation, and you are going to be out in the cold for the Imperial military. For the foreseeable
Okay, now
future.
it's starting to feel better.
Okay, where? I have the worst notes ever.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Okay, there we go. It's in our group chat. Holiday's plan. I should probably bold Holiday so that way it stands out from the other stuff.
That's the plan for this planet. I still have to go do the other thing on Limos proper after we get this done.
Oh yeah, the whole law thing.
Yeah. Where I have to go steal a law.
That's fine.
Okay. We have many levels
Specifically
of
the-
shenanigans on this show.
Specifically, the law that says Arcadians are okay.
No, the Arcadians are leaving. However, I'm going to guarantee that this colony is protected from getting nuked in orbit once this place becomes a
Well, fair.
a core world system.
Okay. So yeah, contract info or the magic shadow contract in chat. Holidays plan is also in chat. That way you can look them over as needed and everything. And thank goodness that I copied everything down from the book for my contracts because I have no idea how they work and I need to read them before using them.
Also, sweeten the deal for the Paragon guy. If you play this correctly, you can point out that the shipment of weapons that went missing was an advance drop for this particular operation publicly, so that you can claim that everything it was just a mix-up, everything is fine, nothing is wrong, while you continue to investigate in-house and figure out where your stuff is.
Or you could convince him that the weapons that went missing are in fact in this area, and the mercenaries who go in are going to retrieve them for him.
Yeah, but if we don't actually have weapons when we get there, which we don't, I also don't want Paragon sniffing around an ex-wound.
All about timing.
Okay, there. I added your amendment. Isphere just kind of looks really poor and is like, I really just want to go punch the planet.
I realize you want to go punch the planet, however.
I know, we have to do all this because if we don't do it, then we're going to get our head shot, blah, 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 death, blah, 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 blah.
Quick show of hands. Who here's fought the Silent?
I don't think any of us have.
A few other people in the room raise their hands.
We won that war with logistics, not punching.
Yes, I know. Logistics make punch more effective. I am just bored and want to help and can't help because I'm bad at logistics. Well, okay, she's bad at certain logistics. I was gonna say if she's made it this long as a smuggler, then she knows how to do some logistics.
But it's like, wait, we had to plan for battle? Boring.
Yeah. I'm sure her and the werewolves and the gang crawl are just like, ugh.
The werewolves are kind of more... You'd be surprised at how many werewolves do like plans.
No, I'm assuming she's not the only of who are combating or kind of like bored. Where's the kids menu so I can tell her?
Okay. So you want to tell the Paragon guy that he gets less than half of Paragon gets less than half of the shipyards if he gives you weapons for 2,400 combatants
And armor.
Or Paragon gets nothing.
I will note we don't actually want or need the weapons. What we need is the access.
But if we get that access, then it's a legit operation. We don't have to explain like 2,400 people going hut off the ship.
Besides, if those guns happen to go missing after that operation, Paragon has a much bigger problem. Not that they're going to get these guns back, because that's not part of the deal. But it's the most modern Paragon arms equipment that we've ever seen. And there's a lot of people who could use those weapons to real good effect.
It is worth a shot. Worst they say is no.
I mean, I don't know if bringing the Megacorps into this is a good idea. Who else are they gonna suspect you of equipping but the Supernats who are here?
Oh, I have that covered too.
Okay.
My particular type of people have a couple of abilities. One of them is normal humans can't tell when I'm lying. So I can tell him to his face that I'm obviously not equipping supernatural creatures. I'm equipping a provisional division of core world naval personnel who are conducting a field operation. And he will unfortunately believe me.
So the arrow guy looks at Megara, and For once, she emotes and she looks a little concerned. We're not convinced that the Paragon rep is a normal human. He does
See,
not. He doesn't register as any of the supernaturals I am familiar with. But there is something non-typical about him.
Oh,
This
like
would have been information to know 5 minutes ago.
So, like, he has been touched by or works for one of us, or one of our kind. Not my kind, but supernatural kind in general.
it could be something that doesn't read as a supernet. We ran into one of those.
Holy
at,
fuck! She just rolled 29 on the dice alone. Okay, yeah, she knows what's going on. So, if I may, and the arrow guy like lets her talk. Everyone's like also confused because they thought this was a normal guy. There are humans. Well, religion was outlawed in the core worlds millennia ago. They still persist around the galaxy. In small pockets in the Expanse, certainly out on the rim. But, even human nature abhors a vacuum, and those who could not find faith in organized religions found it elsewhere, and some found it within the megacorps. Once in a while, you will find an agent of a corporation who believes in its mission to the point of reverence of a divine force.
Fanaticism.
Faith.
faith.
I am not one to say when faith is misguided or not, but a misguided faith is still a faith. And it can strengthen the mind and will. And the Paragon representative, as I have observed, he is irksome, but not, as far as I can tell, dangerous. But of course, there are supernaturals of more flexible morals who do not mind casting on mortals for the lulls.
Sorry, I just imagine this very prim and proper woman saying that, and I'm just
She's not that prim or proper. She's more of like a hippie, but she's just sort of very, ooh, ethereal. What is technology?
Yeah, so
For the
that still makes the
lulls.
giggle.
And did not have the effect they were expecting.
So they took someone who, a priest, quote unquote, and turned them into what, like an Avenger?
No, his
faith
belief protects him from the power of supernatural creatures because he believes utterly in the corporation.
Yes, in a sense, yes.
GM?
So like the old stories of man going like this at Kindred.
And she
Sometimes.
kind of looks at Mr. Eblum. Do your people have stories of true faith and supernaturals? And and Eblum starts looking like he wants to sweat again, but can't because he's a vampire. And he's like, oh, we've, yes, I mean, they were stories of antiquity because, I mean, there were humans who hunted us before the veils fell. There weren't many of them because, well, we were all very good at masquerading our own various ways, but, yes, we have stories of hunters with true are you saying he's a hunter? I don't know. From what I've heard, the two megacorps represented here well, I believe as the Summer Queen said, view all persons as things rather than persons and resources, so I don't think either of them is necessarily anti-supernatural, because their corporations do still work with our kinds in other systems, but they're not. I don't know that they would cross the local party line. But
So
I'm not sure, Mr. Masterson, if your ploy will have the same effect on him as it does on other humans. Did you try using it on the other representative?
Didn't need to. Didn't have to lie to him.
Ah, yes, and that's why he's amenable to the idea of shipping out our people to systems, friendlier systems already, just because his corporation already does that.
I read him pretty well and figured out what he wanted and what he wanted to hear and what he wanted for the corporation.
Hmm.
All it will take is a similar read on the other guy, but I have to actually get a chance to talk to him in order to do that. And that's not a supernatural ability. That's just me.
Yes, there are stories of hunters of strong faith using it to kill supernaturals. I had not thought of well, the megacorps, they're not hunters, I don't think.
Paragon would be the one most likely to have hunters because of their
True.
corporate ethos.
Yes, but they also work with the mercenaries union still.
Well, I'm not saying the entire corporation this way, but one individual out of a corporate structure could be a hunter. I don't think he is without actually talking to him. But again, I still have to talk to him in order to get this to figure out how it's going to work. But the deal is still good for Paragon because it clears up a lot of their publicity, their public image, and it potentially gets some market share with people who they want to sell market share to.
Even
But it doesn't.
If this man is an idiot, even an idiot of faith, I'm not sure he's going to equip you with weapons if there's already a bunch missing in this system. I'm not sure his superiors would allow more shipments. Well, I suppose they have them on planet. But I mean, it's your play.
I'll make the play and see what happens. I'll let you know what's going on. Worst case scenario, they provide the cover authorization of a Paragon Arms military operation.
Also, Paragon. Well, I mean, the whole aspect of Omcon and Paragon fighting over the resources of the system is that neither has quite enough foothold on the government to make sure it always does what they want. If Paragon is putting a paramilitary thing together, they're going to have to get government sanction.
Oh, I think I can handle the government.
If you're sure.
This is starting to get
Here's the
awfully
thing.
complicated.
Nothing is certain. There are no sure things in this play. This could all turn into a fireball at any particular moment in space and time. But we have to make decisions and make choices now, or we are reacting to things that are happening to us.
We do. Holiday, we need you in order to get onto the planet in the first place. If you put a lot of extra risk on also getting this weapons plan, that might make it harder for us to get onto the planet, at which point everything falls to hell.
If I can say, most of the people going are already walking weapons and have weapons on top of that.
So perhaps we don't say we need weapons. We just need authorization between a government party and supposedly armed by. That way they don't lose anything. They just look like on paper they've done something and they make themselves look good to the core, and the core gives them a pat on the head and a cup of milk.
Also, if you frame this as dealing with a supernatural problem under Ponos, They might just call Task Force Valkyrie on it.
Definitely don't want that.
I have a sneaking suspicion Task Force Valkyrie's already involved.
In the wound, or
No, in the system.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Task Force Valkyrie for those of us who haven't gotten to that point in the VODs.
They're government-sanctioned supernatural hunters.
Oh, okay.
And/or Gestapo. And/or, yeah.
Makes sense. Cool. That's all I
And/or
needed.
secret police. It's hard to get a beat on exactly what they are, but they have a lot of sway in they're from the core.
So
They
kind of
have
like
military training. They hunt
Yeah.
supernats.
So kind of a mix between real world like KGB and the blue-handed men, basically.
Possibly. Supposedly there are no supernats in Task Force Valkyrie. But roll into occult S-sphere.
I was gonna say, supposedly she says, as she's read, you know, the entirety of is it Rachel Summers' storyline?
Yeah.
I can't what'd you say, into cult?
Into cult.
No, I botched.
Okay. There couldn't possibly be any way Task Force Valkyrie could copy supernatural powers, so how could they possibly hunt supernats? Duh. Like, yeah.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say she probably doesn't have any idea how it could work. Seeking suspicion of humans and all they've done in the past thousands of years, she's not putting it past them, but she has no clue how it would actually, science-wise.
Yeah, it's actively like illegal to be a supernatural in the core, so no one, as far as you know, like no supernat would be part of Task Force Valkyrie.
Yeah.
I haven't got it into my head to try to infiltrate the core world yet, because I think I have a pretty good run on it, but I'm not willing to risk that right now. I think I could sneak in. I think I could probably slip past the first layer of guards. However, then let's amend this particular plan to we are conducting an operation using in conjunction with Paragon Arms, and we need their authorization to form a private military contracting firm, which Karve will then hire to conduct security operations for another operation. And thus there is a paper trail for this organization doing things.
I think this is also getting too complicated. Also, contracts can be traced. Karve Tourism is regularly contracted with the guilds and the unions.
Then what do you suggest?
I think we should, I mean, you got clearance to come out here in the midst of, she waves towards Logoi, all of that. I think it would be easy enough for you to get clearance just to go back to the planet.
But that does not get the deal with Paragon done for here.
I don't think we should try to involve Paragon in the wound adventure.
No. This isn't for the wound. This is for the what comes after for this colony.
I would, well, from what you've told me, I would say just do the same ridiculous show that you put on for the Omcom representative and offer them, you know,
the 49%.
The 49%.
They're going to expect to. They're going to need to offer me a bribe in order for me to be willing to be able to take that. Is the problem, and we don't have a reason for them to do that.
Then
there is no bribe that they can offer.
Then let them give you. Then let them bribe you. Make them come up with the offer.
Indeed. I mean, if it helps, if it's in our benefit, then great. If not, I mean, like you said, if you are discovered as a other person, this all goes up in smoke anyway.
And then black hole swallows us all and we die.
Yes.
Well, I'll be dead before that happens, but.
Alright, so it sounds like we're using Holiday's various connections to get back on planet. Groups of us are going to try and help most of us stealth off ship.
Yes.
Okay.
And then we have the logistics. How long do we want? Game is technically out of time, but if we can all go longer, then we can at least hammer out the basic plan, so I can
keep
roll
going.
dice.
Oh, then I will just text my contact over in the Logoi planetary government. Because I have one.
Yep.
Of course you do.
I need clearance to for the Panos district. Military operation. Hush, hush.
You send that text?
Why wouldn't I send that text?
Okay. Okay.
Why wouldn't? Well, no. This is.
Okay. If you want to tell the government, some shit's going on under Panos.
Here's the thing. Again, we have to do something.
They don't have to know anything.
They don't have
You're
to-
reporting back from your spying.
Yeah.
I will send them so there's the government official who wanted me that report for what's going on
Yes.
Dysnomia. I will send that report
Mhm.
with the basic outline for what Omcom is willing to do so far. I will mention that there's just been a fresh injection of 10 million credits into the operational budget for the operations here at the shipyard, and then the basis for the law that we're going to try and get the government to pass. I will be returning shortly and have something else that needs to be taken care of on planet.
Okay. So, and you request to be birthed in the Panos district?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, Fadir, I don't think we're gonna get to look at your ridiculous NPC right today, but we'll see.
You can just pop into the meeting and we can take his money too.
Yeah. Alright, so it's basically sneak everyone onto planet, sneak off the ship, take out lights, and, have a power failure in the shipyard. Not unusual for that district. If there's extra investigating going on because of the weapons deal, then, well, we can all deal with mortal investigators and avoid them.
Oh, I will ask my contact what the status of that investigation is and where it's pointed. As that was the guy who asked me to go look into it.
Yeah, he is we don't it's not pointing, it's a lot of we're still working on it. It's someone covered up their tracks really well.
I assume my checking in on the Limos code monkeys gets about the same data?
Yeah, because they're basically spying on the department he has a friend in, so yeah. We're like,
would I have heard any rumors on the black market or anything, or?
Just that none of these weapons have gone on sale yet.
Okay.
In fact, there have been other thefts of weapons, and, like, nothing. There's been no, like, influx of weapons in a while here.
So in this system, there's been on several different planets that weapon caches have gone
There's
missing.
only 2 planets really in this system, or 2 habitable planets. But yeah, there's Paragon has a bunch of stuff going on, so yeah, weapons are gonna go missing here, but, like, no one's really selling more than usual. So someone's
just been
stockpiling
like a month or so?
I would have to double check my notes.
Okay.
I have too many notes.
No, it's fine, because if it's like, because you would assume, yeah, for about the first week or so they're hot, but then they slowly come onto the market and somebody starts,
It's been about a week since the theft, from my recollection of time and space.
Okay.
One quick question I delayed just before we go off stream, and I completely forget. The representative, the mucky muck that we met in Eden system from a third megacorp, who also seemed to have something weird about her. Does the truth faith explanation seem to work for what was going on with her as well?
The one that was ridden by that spirit?
She might have been written by a spirit.
Yeah,
We never figured out.
That was
She
the
was
one,
written by a spirit. Oh, she was written by a spirit.
Not written,
Okay.
claimed.
Claimed by a
Oh.
spirit. Okay, which is a different
worse.
thing.
Different,
Okay.
but worse.
Oh, great.
You explain it to us off stream because we're trying to finish wrapping up.
Yeah.
But
Yep, later.
Yeah, ask me about the claimed. Yes, that's the werewolf queen of the city took one look at that and told her people to retreat because that is an unknown variable.
okay, and that's bad if the werewolves are like, nope.
No, we need to rethink this. It was more of a tactical retreat than a run the fuck away, but then the muckety muck got off planet anyway. It's like, well, I guess it's not our problem, but we'll have to tell the other werewolves that this is a thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, you've roll Petruchio roll int occult.
Sure.
This would be an occult thing.
Watch.
You have no idea if
None.
that has any connection. Spirit
That's
bullshit, magic. But you're an Invictus. You don't do magic. You have disciplines.
We have contracts.
Magic
The
is
other kind of contracts.
magic is for those other vampires.
The Whamir.
Yeah, because Invictus contracts are definitely not magic.
Nope. Not in the slightest. So yeah, alright. If we're satisfied that we can sneak people in. I mean, these are there is quite a focus on being sneaky on Logoi. So these are practiced individuals at not getting caught. But we will all talk to our various peoples about what resources we have in this regard for the disembarking. Yes?
No one talks to the weirdo vampire who's running Logoi. Not even if it's just, hey, you're passing in. Because if he hears about vampires coming back in, he's gonna say something stupid, and then somebody else might notice.
Yes, we're no. The prince, whatever his name is now, is not. No.
There's more than a weirdo vampires, and she gestures towards Petruchio.
Oh yeah.
The sheriff speaks up. Yeah.
He's a problem.
The last vampires on Logoi are like. They suck. Well, I guess to put it one way. Total megalomaniacal, narcissistic, emotionally abusive head case. And
They're
he's got
a cult,
like
but worse.
Yeah, because cults
That's
actually like get
terrifying.
stuff done. But yeah, it is really culty. So he basically, emotionally abuses his 10 vampire subjects into submission and plots them against each other, and there's not really any point to it. Like,
Oh, it's just dance puppets dance for
yeah, basically just
But meanwhile, any of them would take his place in a moment.
Oh, probably. Yeah.
Well, it probably doesn't matter.
They
because
won't
the boy's
notice.
Being taken over by Core. I say, why not put the cool wall around there? But
2,400 Supernats could like storm their tower or whatever, and they wouldn't notice right away. All the competent kindred on that planet are gone.
are here.
Are either here or they've already gone to other systems.
That is fair. Okay, so don't talk to Lenovsky.
No, he has no resources. He's just stupid and awful. He will try to take over this, and if he doesn't get his way, yeah, probably rat us out to the feds.
You
So
know,
we want to be gone by that time. Got it.
Well, he's not going to notice us either way.
when we leave, we might set up a supernatural fall guy for the place, and we could just give them his address.
I would not be against that plan. And,
That is very smart. Tie up loose
Does
ends.
that seem like a thing that we can all agree on? We're gonna do
Yes,
the
that-
supernatural
Fine thing to
scapegoat.
do.
For
I'm sure the whole.
you see Abralam smile for the first time. That would be wonderful.
Do you want us to record it for you? Post it on
no.
projector?
We won't
We'll
be
just-
there.
We'll just get after action reports from the Logoi planetary government.
Well,
We can get their news on it. Eden.
assuming they don't sick Task Force Valkyrie on him, they don't usually record and distribute their hits. He stopped smiling. But no one will miss them. And they honestly, whatever pull they think they have in the government, they do not have it.
Yeah.
Good to know. I'm learning so much these days.
Yes. Oh, look,
the
another
bot
bot.
is back. Be gone.
Bye, bot.
We send you. I don't know. We go feed the Sabat.
Send you to bot hell.
Sending the bot to the Sabat.
Yeah, exactly. Another bot for the Sabat.
Banned. Sorry, chat. I'm also the only moderator right now, but I will fix that for next week.
We'll fix it in time for Tuesday.
If I wanted to be famous, I would probably tweet a lot more.
It's not worth it.
If I'd wanted more viewers, I'd be running D&D.
That's probably true.
And not on Saturday night. Yeah, even the prince in their chair is just sort of like, yeah, that's good. Yes, if we need a patsy, yes, the Prince of Logoi would be perfect.
Sounds like we have bases covered, we have Patsy set up, we have entry plan, we have exit plan, which is get out of there very quickly.
Could we maybe blame the weapons theft on him?
Don't see why not.
How do we know he's not actually responsible for it?
The problem is somebody is.
Well, the thing is, I mean, whoever was responsible has been very effective, according to the news, at covering their tracks, so that's not them.
It could be the government of Logoi, honestly.
Who knows?
Well, whoever
Humans
it is,
make terrible decisions all the time.
This is not wrong. Who's ever doing it, though? Weapons are not coming onto the market the rate they should, so that is concerning.
There's also that I was told there's one pocket of changelings left, and that they have something that needs to be transported off-world. I assume once we exit after this mission, that will be the last chance for them to get whatever it is.
Petruchio, you're going to have to go talk to the changelings. This is entirely your particular aspect of this particular operation. You need to go talk to them.
All right.
All right.
So you don't want to fight? No judgment. Most of the kindred don't want to fight, it seems, but it is. I would like to not leave changelings to die if I don't have to.
No. The question is, they needed to talk to the person who owns the ship in order to actually work out the contractual obligations. That is.
All right.
Wait, you're not in charge?
What would make you think I'm in charge?
You ran the fucking meeting last week.
I'm an agent of chaos.
Holiday is an amazingly valuable associate.
I'm an agent of chaos and change. What makes you think I'm in charge?
She gestures to everything happening around them as, like, he put the wheels in motion.
Esphere is your name, I believe? Petruchio is a kindred. It is the way of most kindred to not actually wield power publicly, but do the shell game of making it look like someone else. No offense to anyone at this table, and the kindred are like, nah, it's cool.
And as a changeling, it is my obligation to make him think he's in charge.
There it is.
No comment. All right. Mix Petruchio, will you be helping them out while we're fighting, or are you going to come down to the battle as well?
It seems like that every hand is needed.
All right.
We should also talk to the Duke when we get back and see about him getting his people in line.
Yeah, the Adamantine are. Yeah, I'm not sure there's any mages left, but yeah, we'll get him off planet.
There's a few, according to the Duke.
All right, then
she goes like this. Oh no, she's just waiting for them to finish because, like, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll get the last of the mages off. See if he's already aware of this, so if he's coming to help, he'll help or not. There are some magi, or they have their places of power and they're loath to leave them, so we can't real force them.
Yeah.
What about the ones who are, guarding the big fuck off hole?
My understanding of the situation is that once the big fuck awful thing is dealt with, they can leave.
Yeah, and the werewolf lady's like, yeah, I don't know what oaths they've sworn or what bans have been leveled on them, but yeah, once this is done, they should be able to come with us.
Okay.
Hypothetically.
If there were a thing.
You see the werewolf lady kind of cough and get a little unsteady for a second and is like, oh, I forgot. This is why I don't have more renown and purity.
I got your back on that. Hypothetically, this is a situation. Hypothetically, we're going to go fix it. Hypothetically, we're all going to leave.
Sphere just looks confused and then thinks werewolf bullshit. Got it.
Werewolf bullshit. Werewolves, weirdly enough, have the most mysterious bullshit because it actually hurts them to talk about it.
Yeah, Sphere's just like,
it's a fun dynamic in NWoD.
So
all right, so Mix Petruchio, I think. Well, perhaps we can bring a few more people to try and help get the changelings off planet.
Yes, that's a good plan.
Right.
If we can get some people who want to help with the changelings,
I think we still have
and are not combatants, we should have room for them.
There are still some changelings in the colony who are in the Church of the Weird, but they just weren't in that chapter church. But so I'll talk to them because it's a very insular group. They might accept help more readily from their own kind once they've worked out the logistics with you. But yes, I can work that out.
Right.
Are we having them hop on ship before we deal with everything, or after we deal with everything?
Probably
during is probably best.
During.
Yes.
Just curious.
I'll set up a drone they can take with me just in case they need to ask anything while things are going on.
That would also be helpful in case none of us make it out alive.
Quite.
This is also good. If they're coming during, we should probably have security at dock just to make sure they get on safely. I do not know what this hole is capable of, other than it sounds like bad things and areas a little more, which is fine. No judgments on areas being a little more.
It's the seediest hive of scum and villainy neighborhood on the planet. Hence, many Supernats used to live there because we weren't allowed to live anywhere else.
That makes sense. So maybe if there are some who wish to come but aren't sure if they want to fight on the whole, maybe escort mission.
Yes, I'll see what I can do about that.
Just a thought. If they sound important.
Well, like I said,
Sphere doesn't really involve herself with the church, as Fennec doesn't understand it, so.
Yes, like I said, it's the church helps its own. I'll see if I can talk to the ones we have here that will help. Interesting religion, but I'm not really into that. Anyway, so you get down to planet. There is Petruchio talks to some changelings and then joins us again, and we all get down into the undercity by hook or by crook. And then what do we do?
We kill the bastard.
We punch the hole?
It's a large neighborhood, based on what map you have of it, and it's full of treacherous terrain that does not conform to the laws of time and space, even as we in this room know them to be.
And it's full of monsters.
Yes.
Monsters who used to apparently be like us, so if you have things that hurt, other kind of gestures to the room, probably good to bring them.
The adamantine arrow guy looks at the werewolf lady, and she just look like, please don't make me have to talk about it. And he's like, so they're Magaths.
That's hypothetically.
No, so I'm a mage. I don't have the same problems.
It's full of Magaths.
Yeah, so a Magath didn't used to be a Supernat, but from what I understand, thousands upon thousands of humans and Supernats died there which generated emotional resonance that created spirits that were horrible, made of negative, and then those in a normal place. Luckily, I'm a Thrasis too, because I rolled for it. The spirit world is kind of like its own ecosystem. You know, in a real ecosystem, you know, owls eat mice. In a spirit ecosystem, an owl spirit will keep eating mice until it grows, and as it eats bigger, it grows into a bigger spirit. But it's not going to be an owl and mice spirit, because that's nonsensical. It'll be, you know, a spirit that looks like an owl, but it'll be the spirit of night hunting.
Okay. I'm with you so far.
And so the ecosystem, you know, spirits in the ecosystem prey on other spirits, and they grow in a kind of cohesive manner that makes contextual sense. Magaths are when you have a closed ecosystem where there's not enough new stuff coming in or growing because there's no human resonance, and then all those spirits just start eating each other. And they become really ridiculous spirit monsters that have bands that make no sense, that have powers that make no sense. But from what it sounds like, so it's possible that there was a changeling, died horribly or killed others horribly, and created a spirit of emotional resonance that was susceptible to cold iron. Or some of the Magaths started eating some of the changelings that might have still been alive back then. No offense, I know you've got a lot to deal with, to think about. But...
I mean, it's...
So, it's possible. Spirits can also eat flesh. It's not fun for the flesh. And then they also absorb the strengths and weaknesses of that flesh. So if they started eating changelings and kindred and Forsaken, they could potentially have those sensitivities.
So you are what you eat is true?
Yes, in the spirit world. In the spirit world, not in a standard spirit ecosystem, not exactly, but in a wound, yes.
So don't bite them.
No, don't eat them. And the werewolf is like, no, don't eat them.
Be prepared to hit them with cold iron and silver and set them on fire.
And she chose the silver knife that she got and then put it back in her belt.
Bear in mind, the plague that originally killed all these people was the red plague.
Yeah, it supposedly it can't be transferred to the living by the dead, and they're long dead. But yeah, just best not to let anything touch them.
No, my concern was the entire place will drive you nuts. It exacerbates violence.
Well, yes, it's a wound.
Yeah.
That, not even a question. It'll bring out the worst in all of us, as it seeks to turn us into the worst examples of all of our communities.
Yay.
So. Whatever your community, whatever members of your people become when you lose all grasp on morality. That's what Red Plague did to people, and that's what a wound is going to try to do to people if it's created from that kind of trauma, mass trauma.
Good to know.
The werewolf looks so relieved that there are two spirit mages here, and she could just not talk.
Right, thank you for lesson. I think a lot of us are more prepared now since not all of us study this.
Well, we've got plenty of matter mages. We got plenty of Moros, so we'll see if they can equip us with cold iron and silver and that.
Oh. One thing to consider for those of us who have the ability to do Whispers of the Morning. Spirits can't see you while you're whispered.
Do I?
Just so you're all aware.
Ah, yes, so they can't see through to that twilight.
No.
How did I have that one. Ha!
I was having a field day with the Magellan using that.
All right, so well, we need.
So when are we leaving?
So we have to figure out. we might need to coordinate more with the local werewolves to understand exactly where the wound is so that we can set up the magi doing the ritual and then cover them.
Correct.
Yes, we need to trust our local gods.
And Chris doesn't have a map yet. Okay.
Well, we're not going to need a map. Don't be silly. You can completely abstract this. That's what's the fun of the system.
Yeah. Well, the fun of how I run it, where we just don't use maps. Also, because
okay with that.
Roll20 just hates me, and I don't know why. So we don't use maps on this channel. Sorry,
I
I found
chat.
all virtual tabletop simulators hate me.
I think it's because Roll20 hates itself.
Mm.
And it's just taking it out on you.
Yep. Alright. So, so it's basically, so here's what I propose, unless someone has a better idea, and Tobias hooks you up with the werewolves, you get a sense of where the actual wound location, and it's like, well, it's kind of the whole neighborhood.
Yep.
Oh, well, that makes it easy.
Yes, that means we don't necessarily have to go far into the territory. But it does mean the entire neighborhood is trying to kill us.
As opposed, she kind of gestures to where the core is.
Yes, true.
Like,
well, I
not
mean,
to be rude, I'm just saying.
the
neighborhood
humans
is a lot
aren't as good
easier
at
to-
it. The humans are not as effective at trying to kill us. Yes.
We do have evidence of that in the break.
Yes, indeed. Alright, so, would we want to connect with the local pack in their territory, or come away from, So yeah, the werewolves, are pretty much okay with, Oh, that's right, because you said, you would loop in the werewolf pack,
Yeah.
to this meeting. They're like,
Yeah, and we let him know that 2,400 people are coming.
It would definitely, yeah, so, like, it would definitely be easier, like, it'll maybe uncomplicate things if you come straight for our territory instead of for the wound, because then at least you have the protection of our territory. Do I have to make a roll? I don't know, man.
Hypothetically.
Hypothetically. So yeah, hypothetically, like, we'll give you coordinates, or rather, the dudes you're talking to will give you coordinates, because they've been there. Because I can't, because I have problems, hypothetically.
All good.
But yeah.
It's fine.
So, yeah, and then, we don't have a lot of our weapons to hand out, but, like, you know.
We're bringing guns.
Yeah. And, you know, Supernats, who are weapons.
Yes, you know, we, BYW.
So yeah, basically with, I'll just narrate this, with, coordinating with the local pack, who know, you know, what's supposed to be on the outermost outskirts of the wound. There's, like, a park, or well, an X-park, kind of near this one edge, and that does give a lot of wide open space for mages to do mage stuff, if that's what they want. Also, obviously, some very tall buildings around. Yeah, and, so you can pinpoint on the map where it's supposed to be, but again, time and space are timey-wimey and spacey-wacy, because it's a wound. But, yeah, so they have a plan? Or they, you know, they give you where you put it on your map, where that should be. You think you might have seen it as you were escaping with the werewolves that time.
It's not the stadium where the Magellan was holding court, is it?
No, it is
Okay.
quite a ways away from that.
Okay.
Which would hopefully mean that, yeah, and it's pretty close to the edge of this walled off city pocket. So yeah, it's so the plan you all work out, unless someone has a better one, is that the 50 mages set up their mage bullshit and start doing a ritual, and their multiple lines of defense kind of circling outwards to
I was just
defend
about to
them,
ask that.
defend them against all of the spirits that are going to try and eat all of you.
So the mages are going to do the ritual, and then all of us are just going to be kind of like, whew, and fighting things.
Mhm.
Okay.
And eventually, and the Thyrsus brings up, so, it sounds like, the male djinn was a little surprised at changelings having ranged magical attacks.
To be fair, I hit the Magician with a rock and it almost died.
I mean, that's still a ranged attack.
Yeah. It was not amused.
It might behoove us to set up a changeling strack team to hit the big uns before they get anywhere near the ritual.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Isphere kind of looks. I don't have any of that,
'Cause,
so not me.
Yeah, Magi, we can sometimes do that, but our magic is expensive, and I'm not sure what Paradox is gonna do to this already screwed up territory.
Man, if Dune were here, I'd be making jokes about geese.
What's a goose? What is a geese?
Yeah, I don't know it. Is it they kind of like the very long, very tall, the yellow with the stripes, and they eat the thing off the trees?
No, not like that. In fact, they're nothing like, and they're not also not nothing like a jelly cat. I pet the jelly cat.
Oh, hello! You brought friend. I like friends.
It's the kitten, right? It pops its
Yes.
little face out of the hat.
You know, hello, little one. I would boop your nose, but it hurts.
It hurts you a little bit, yeah. It's a bit
Oh.
like kissing a banana slug, but more. They
So-
eat poison oak, so when you kiss a banana slug, it makes your lips tingle. Or so
Ah.
I've been told, because ew, I would never do that.
It's a California thing.
Yeah, North Cal.
Concerned.
So I'll put out a call for volunteers to go bug hunting, basically.
Yep. Well, I don't think we'll really have to go bug hunting. I'm pretty sure the bugs are coming for us.
Yeah, but the big ones we might want to deal with before they get a chance to, get close enough to do anything.
We can probably work that out. And there's Summer Core going, yeah! She's like, tactics! Okay, tactics!
Isphere just chuckles.
The Summer Court. Or the Summer Nova Court. Alright.
Isphere will kind of just eye the Night Court, king and be like, "You're gonna let them take all the fun?"
He's like, no, but it's more fun for them to not know who just took it down. But it wasn't them.
And this is all just like a silent conversation.
Yeah,
I'm
just
assuming.
very quietly. You
Like
least-
tentacles doing Morse code.
Yeah. Alright, so it is very late. Arcadians are leaving because they have all the quarters. Why did I look at chat? But okay.
Well,
Puns! Alright, so we have more than 12% of a plan.
it's better than 9%.
Someone else please write it down.
I will type it up here in the
And
chat
then
for
I
those who
will-
missed and who will be.
In the next 2 weeks, I will roll a bunch of dice and do a bunch of research on how other GMs do massed combat. And I'll figure something out that is narratively entertaining, but not, kill all my players, which I'm not really into because it's boring. Holiday is ready to die.
Oh, Sparta!
Oh, before we right after we break from this meeting, I will text out my daughter and see where she is.
She has gone back to the core to continue recording her album.
Okay, I'll send her a note of a place that she should probably be in 6 to 8 weeks.
What's the name of the werewolf pack?
They've been calling them on the ground.
Yeah.
They've been calling them the Crows.
CROWS or
Yes.
KR. Okay.
Like the burb.
Wait, is
Like
she
the
actually
bird.
is she a newborn changeling now?
Me? I've
No,
been
the one from the musician.
No.
Okay.
Not as far as you can tell.
I don't think she'd made it back to the core if she were a newborn changeling.
Yeah, true.
I
Yeah.
think if Holidays texting people, Isphere once they're alone sends like a little "Hey, thinking of you" message to Beth, and then that's where she ends for the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. So yep, the various splats are gonna talk about who's got stealth magic. And we're gonna look for some Church of the Weird to help with the Church of the Weird.
Yep. I will also send a message to the Code Monkeys saying I can't talk about it too much, but there's a problem on Limos that needs to get cleaned up. If some eyes could get turned away from this area in Bonio, that would be fantastic. So things would not go boom.
Yeah, Code Monkeys are up for it.
Yep.
For
I'll check in on my postman while I'm checking in on people.
Okay, when are y'all planning to ship out? So it's about noon.
Soon as everybody's loaded.
Yeah. So
Okay.
as soon as they can logistically can, I think it's ASAP.
Yeah.
Okay, so they probably mobilize and pack everyone in 24 hours.
Cool.
Okay.
So next day, early morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll check on my postman to make sure that he's okay.
Jeb is like, yeah, it's a boring day, but there's a lot of cops around. It's weird.
Cross territory. We're gonna connect. Someone's letting the Duke know to meet us in the Cross territory. Okay.
Oh, and the lady who runs Charybdis needs to be ready to, or Scylla needs to be ready to move. But we'll catch her when we get down there because it's on the way.
Yeah.
Duke's faction. Small group.
Evidently, there are lots of cops running around the district.
We want to make sure no one gets left behind, unless they're complete assholes.
Or they just are refusing to leave.
Yep.
Which at this point, it's like, we did our best.
Huh, the cops running around Ponos. That's interesting.
Well, there was a major weapons theft, and this is the local hive of scum and villainy. Okay. But yeah, all those other people are, the Duke is like, thumbs up. Maya is like, thumbs up. They do not feel they are qualified to fight in this battle. But they will take care of the ship.
Yeah.
And help with other stuff. And like Liz says, if they don't come back, then they can at least get the ship, back up to Dysnomia. And Liz is also setting up people to start, setting up the logistics of the Exodus if she's not there.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have a plan, and I have a bunch of dice to roll. And a lot of research to do. Alright, so chat, that was a very long episode, but I made it all the way through and am pleasantly surprised at that. Because my body is trying to dissolve itself from the inside out right now. Yay! Because it's summer. I hate it. But anyway, in Make Believe Land, this is Magic Fish Radio. We do tabletop RPG streams on Tuesdays and Saturday nights. You have just watched Exit to Eden, A World of Darkness and Space, where it's all the NWoD and Chronicle of Darkness splats in a far-flung dystopian future where they have to do a BBEG, they have to do a big battle, and I have to run it. But I have 2 weeks to figure it out. Okay.
Plan is posted in the Discord.
Woohoo!
if you want to pin it, it's in bold.
So yes, join the Discord. Join the Discord. Join the Discord. Join the Discord.
I will post the thingy one more time.
And our oh, we are open for new players again for basically all of our games. So on the Discord, there is a channel called Casting Calls, and there is a link to apply to be a player. I also post that link periodically on our Magic Fish Radio Twitter. So if you're interested in playing in this ridiculous game, I might not tag you in for the next Exit to Eden episode, because it's gonna be ridiculous, but, you know, who knows, because Summer is cursed and keeps cursing my players. So we'll see what happens. Let's not rule it out either. So yeah. Also, we still have room for more players for G.I. Joe, Relics of War. Yeah, I'm fading again. This Tuesday we start with session 0, and it's going to be 4 episodes, so session 0 and then episodes 1, 2, and 3. So come by. We are trying to figure out how to make the Essence 20 system work. We have hope, and when all else fails, house rules. And when things completely fail, just make it 5e. Maybe not. Maybe we won't go that far, but yes, and that is our Tuesday night slot is a series of short campaigns as we go through all the games we want to play but never can find time for, or players or GMs. So GM John is just basically going through his bookshelf. After 4 weeks of G.I. Joe, we will have 4 weeks of Anime 5e, and then after that, 4 weeks of Star Wars!
Star Wars!
And shush. My phone is telling me it's time to go to bed. I'm like, not yet, phone. I have producing to do. And we'd run Exit to Eden every other week. Ideally, every other week we then do indie RPG one-shots with guest players and guest GMs, but that has also been cursed for the last several months. So I'm not sure if we're doing that next week, because it's 4th of July weekend, so I'm just gonna have to put up that scheduling poll for my players, and we'll see if we're gaming next week. But yeah, we have run, so if you are not interested in a streaming career, but would like to try it, you can one-shot a game with us as a player or as a GM. If you are an indie RPG writer, contributor, developer, playtester, artist, whatever, you know, join our Discord, chat with us about it, and we can maybe run a one-shot. You can run a one-shot of your game for us, you know, with us, or bring more players of your own. We'll work stuff out. We're pretty chill here because we can't pay, so we kind of have to be. We have no money.
It's okay. We have love.
Yes, we have love, and sometimes
that makes us the richest.
And when we have spoons, we have excitement. My spoons are a bit flagging, but I still am excited about my own channel. So yeah, join the Discord, join the Discord, join the Discord. So, oh, thank you, Ventru, $13.99.
Thank you.
I try. I'm usually greater than this, but it's been a rough week for anyone with a uterus, and mine in particular.
Yay.
Yay, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, join the Discord. Join the Discord! Where I will say things that make sense, because I can type them and edit them as I go. And with that, personally, I am at Ms. Chrysala on the social medias. I'm not going to be on anything in any other channels anytime soon, because I keep applying and they keep saying no. Oh well. But I have my channel, and I have my community, and that is nice. But any other stuff I do will be on that Twitter. And probably also our Discord, because I run the Discord. Well, we let people signal boost a lot of stuff on our Discord, because it's fun. So long as it doesn't conflict with our time slots. That is one rule. And if it does, post a VOD afterwards. You know? It's cool. And with that, I am gonna go look for someone to raid if there's anyone left at this hour. But I don't mind raiding DJs. That might be all that's left. So with that, let's do our outros. Let's go backwards. It's Petruchio, who are you when you are not a blood-sucking bureaucrat of the night?
Not nobody. Oh wait, no, I'm not actually a bureaucrat. So when I'm not playing Petruchio, and not being a hacker, I'm Josh, who's also a hacker, but not that kind of hacker. But I haven't been doing that much on streaming recently. So you can find me as Neme or Nemex at various places on social media, including recently again Dice.camp.
Cool.
If you want to talk about games and game design. It's part of the Mastodoniverse.
Ventru said that Dice Cold is doing a VTM game right now. If you wanted to do that,
I see that. I'm gonna make sure that they're not about to go offline though, because it is 11 o'clock. So let me check their schedule.
I still haven't adjusted to Central Time. My brain is in Pacific. I'm like, what? It's 11.
Okay, they started at 9, so they're probably going till midnight. So yeah, we'll raid the Dice Cult. They are fun. And Fennec.
So I'm a Fennec. I don't know why I'm doing this voice, but here we go. I seem to do it every week.
It's silly o'clock.
It's silly o'clock. You can find me on most things as the Fennec Wolf. I help on Nerdsmith, running social stuff and playing games sometimes and doing podcasts there. I'm also going to be with Pseudonym Social. We're doing Urban Shadows campaign that should be coming out in podcasting form soon, and I'm trying to get a few other streams up and running. I'm just waiting for my job to finally give me a schedule so I can actually do the things and figure out when I can do the things.
Our jobs don't like work-life balance.
No, especially when one is in a call center.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Holiday.
I am Zardoz. I am at Once and Featured Doctor on Twitter. I run Duffel Bag Full of Zombies Press. I write role-playing games, supplements, and other exciting things of that nature.
We have run at least one of them on this stream for Indie RPG Night.
Huzzers!
Woohoo!
Yes.
We have VODs on Twitch and also on YouTube. Yahoo! Go watch them.
They're really fun.
I do my best.
I found them quite enjoyable and catching up on Idun's lore, so I'm not so every like 5 seconds. GM?
What does this mean?
GM?
I think what our plan is to maybe make some kind of lore sheet that is somewhat comprehensive and or organized.
It's coming. I'm just waiting for everybody else to message me.
Okay. So hopefully we'll have that. We'll see if it's more popular than making people watch, 53 3-hour VODs.
You say that like...
You say that like people don't do it for critical... Sorry.
For that other show.
Yeah, that other show.
You can say it, it's just... I don't care about that. They
That's
have
fair.
their fandom. They don't need my support.
Speaking as someone who has toes in just about every single pie, you're not wrong.
I'm gonna support the Dice Cult because they are a small channel like us and do things that, well, I mean, I guess Crit Roll does things other than D&D these days, but
No, you're not.
They give back, but still.
Let's support our bros.
Yeah, yeah.
We're so tired. All right, prepare chat to raid the Dice Cult. So again, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. I hope we gave you 4 hours of amicable nerdy distractions trying to plan a big battle.
Sir.
Yeah, gotta try to spotlight the small shows, because, we're all cool in different
Yes.
ways. But
Saturday
Saturday nights are a rough time slot. Whew. So yeah, chat, watch this space, join the Discord, and take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and please diablerize responsibly.
Bye.